Time to kick it old school. So you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah.
What up, man?
I'm here for a reason, to deliver a message, and I'm gonna articulate it the best way I can to you. But I am gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? I am not sparing. I can't help how people feel in life, right? Anybody?
Oh, Lord.
Here you go. Don't worry. I don't.
Explain that.
Get you a word. Nana nana boo boo.
What up, though? It's the word. You see the title. We about to get into it. But before we get into that, let me get into the chat. My brother Bronze, what up, though? Appreciate you, fam. Appreciate you. Liz B in the building. What up, though, sis? What up, though, Liz B? Appreciate you. Hey, man, yeah, I've been gone for a minute. Yeah, I've been up and down, but I'm good. I had to get a tooth pulled out my head, but we good to go. You know, mouth a little sore, but yeah, we back. I missed y'all, man. I missed coming on here. You know, I ain't gonna lie, man. If I would have stayed off for a little while longer, I probably wouldn't have came back. Yeah, I probably would have been chilling like I'm straight, but we back. And I did miss, you know, having conversations, coming over here, you know, rapping with y'all. Been thinking a lot about what I want to do with the channel. So yeah, and it all flows perfect within the topic because, you know, welcome to 2025, you know, a.k.a. the 9. This is the year of the 9. When you add 2025 up, you get 9. You know, 2 + 2 + 5, you got a 9. And everything has energy, right? Everything has a frequency. And if you tap into it, you can ride the wave of that frequency and benefit from all the beneficial things that it has to offer. So we're going to take a look at what the 9 represents, right? And we will see how we can lean into that 9 and ride that wave and benefit from the frequency of the number, you know, because that's the year we're in. And if you don't believe in numerology, that's okay, because a lot of successful people do, you know. So you'll see certain artists, they drop albums on weird days, right? It'd be like a Tuesday. Why did they drop it on a Tuesday? Because it was the 8th. You know, that day added up to 8. You know, that's the infinity. You know, that's abundance. So a lot of people do certain things on particular days because of the frequency that the day emits, the energy that the day exudes. That's why people do different things on different days. But we're gonna get into the night. I'm trying to waste time to see if Tay still woke. But if not, that's cool too. We're gonna look at I got something Google, so we're gonna look at that for a minute. And yeah, shout out to Selena. She did a good live earlier. It was talking about astrology. Is it good or bad? So if y'all don't get a chance, if y'all get a chance, go check that out. I was in the chat, but I missed parts of it because phone calls and kids running around crazy. You tell a kid to go to sleep, and that's when they wake up and get buck wild and start flipping and jumping and climbing walls and stuff. As soon as you tell them it's sleepy time. Other than that, they be chilling. Bud Files, what up, though? My 33 brother, Mr. Gary Busted Down Brown. What up, though? Appreciate you. Yeah, so let me go ahead and pop this up here real quick. So in numerology, the 9 represents a couple things, right? Make sure y'all can see that. Okay. So the 9 represents a couple things: wisdom, spirituality, and completion. The last part is key, completion. And I want you to see how they explain completion, right? In numerology, the number 9 symbolizes wisdom, spirituality, and completion. It represents the end of one cycle and the potential for a new beginning, as well as transformation and transition. So when we talk about completion, you can even talk about completing a bad habit. Okay, I'm done with this. Let me go over to this. This is the time to do it. If it's something that you wanted to close out, something that you wanted to be done with, this is the time to do it. And wisdom will come through with it. Because think about it. If it's something I've been trying to do and now I'm in the age or in the time to do it and get it done, I'm going to gain information from it. I'm going to gain from that. I'm going to learn something that I can possibly utilize later or pass it down to someone else to benefit other people. This is what overcoming adversity does. When we overcome the things that hold us back, we gain from that. Once we overcome it, we gain information, knowledge, and wisdom. We gain confidence, experience. You gain from overcoming adversity. Adversity actually builds you. It develops you. The more adversity you overcome, the more well-found and in tune you are. So that's why I tell people, don't be afraid to fail. Failure is a part of life. A lot of times we have to fail to understand what we was doing wrong. We have a perception, or we think how things supposed to go until we do it. I used to be one of them people, and now I just sit back and I just be like, okay, let them do it. You go through phases in life, and the older I get, you develop more patience. When I was young, it was like when I learned something, I'm like, nah, I'm trying to explain it to everybody. Like, you fighting with people. That's why I used to get into debates. Especially I studied religion. So when I learned something new, like, oh man, you try to bring it back to the people, and y'all got difference of opinion, you get into a debate. Well, look, check this out. Well, I know this. Well, I know that. You get into that. But the older I got, now I just be like, man, if it worked for him, it worked for him, and I keep it moving. Like, hey, it is what it is. I can give you the sauce. I can't tell you what to do with it. So, just over the years, man, the more, see, when you have knowledge, you do one or two. You either flake or you keep it from people, right? When you have wisdom, you understand how the path it took to gain that wisdom. And you understand that everyone has to travel that path to gain this level of understanding. This ain't nothing you can give nobody. It ain't nothing you can force. It's not, but that comes with time and practice. That's why it's important to practice things. So, Ben Riders, what up, sis? Appreciate you being in this season, the season of the 9. Man, start putting things to play. You know, start putting things into action. Don't be afraid to fail, because guess what? You go fail. That's just part of life. It's gonna happen. But through failure comes understanding and comes wisdom. You learn what you do wrong. Don't be stubborn. Be open to learning from your failures. That's what people, when they fail at something, they think it's over. They beat themselves. They don't want to try it no more. That's because you ain't learning. That's all it is. You're not learning. Like I said, we have a perception of things until we actually experience it. Then when you experience it, that's like this, right? My whole life, I've been around kids. My whole life, I done helped raise so many different cousins, sisters. I done helped raise so many. I dated women with kids all the time. So I thought I knew kids, until when I had my own kids. I just thought I knew everything about kids. Now, when I hear someone say, "Oh, I've been around kids," I'd be like, "Do you have your own?" No, okay. And then they okay, yeah, you can think all you want. It's a different. I don't care what nobody say. I'm telling you from firsthand knowledge. It's a difference from helping somebody with their kid than this being your seed. Especially as a man, like that's my creation. That whole thing, that it's a whole dynamic. I don't mind helping or playing a role to anyone's kids, being what, but it's a difference between my seed. Like this is my legacy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like one of them dudes that had kids and, just let them know this is my responsibility. I have to rear this child. I don't raise kids. You raise cattle. Listen to what I'm saying. Cattle is raised. You look up the word raise versus the word rear. We need to begin to rear our children, nurture them, give them the proper things that they need so they can succeed. Too many people raising kids, that's just giving them the bare minimum, and they coming up. You feeding them and clothing them. No, we have to pour into the children. And having my own, that's what I do. That's what I do. And just like I pour into them, they pour into me. It just hit different. When it's yours, it's yours. You know what I'm saying? When it's yours, it's yours. So, yeah, but that's one of the things. But Dee in the building, Dee. What up, though, sis? But yeah, so that's the difference. So it's experiencing. Knowledge is acquired many different ways, right? But wisdom is gained one way. There's only one way to gain wisdom, and that's through practicing knowledge over time. That's the only way you gain wisdom. No one can give it to you. This is something you have to go out and acquire yourself. You can read all the books you want, and guess what? You just reading someone else's perspective. That's the operation of what's happening. Anything you read is someone else's point of view. That's all it is. So I'm a practitioner of anything that I do. I have to practice. So someone will tell me something, and when I practice it, I will find more or I will find less of what they said. And if you ever did anything, like far as like think about your job. They trained you one way, but as you begin to do it, you found more efficient and effective ways to do it, right? But that's not what they trained you in. They trained you to do it like this, but you found a better way. Why did you find that better way? Because you practiced it. If you would have just continued to just do what they did, yeah, you would have been trained on how to do it. But when you are someone who look for more effective, efficient ways to get things done, you will find different ways to get things done. Some stuff is incomplete. Even when we talk about the pursuit of finding the creator, like I said, if your experience with God is from someone else's perspective, meaning reading a book, then that's why there's so much conflict in your heart about it. That's where the belief comes from. You depended on that book. to have a relationship with God instead of developing it yourself. That book is only to make you aware of what's possible. That's all information is making you aware of what is possible. Now it's up to you to practice it. And as you begin to practice it, you start finding truths and falsehoods, things that are beneficial, things that are detrimental. That's what happens when you practice it. But then when you only believe and you only look at a resource, then that's all you can rely on. And this is where the confusion come from when people get to talking about religion and spirituality, because a lot of people don't practice. They just have a belief in something. They don't practice, because as you practice, then there's no more belief. There's no reason to believe anything. Sirius is in the building. What up, sis? Appreciate you. My sis Liz B in the building. Didi in the building. Ryder. Gary, did I pin that link? I don't think I pinned the link. No. But I can do it right here. But yeah, going into this year, the year of the 9, this is the year of completion, right? So it's when you complete something, you open up the door for something new. Something old is done. Now it's time to move on to something new. So even if, like, I tell people this, man, if you had any insecurities, if you had any doubts about yourself, it's 2025. We're in a new year, let that go. Going to this year feeling good, feeling great, being optimistic, understanding possibilities. It's you have potential. Every day we wake up, we have potential. Like, I just went through all this stuff, all this medical stuff. I was in and out the hospital probably about 3 days, 3 different times. Like, I go in, and then 2 days later I got to go back in. And then, I suffered through the holiday, through Christmas. And when I went in, my lymph node under my TMJ was so swollen. And if you know what a lymph node is, it's like a nervous system. But it was carrying an infection, and it almost got to my brain. They had to give me IV fluid. So I had to chill in the hospital until, I got all the antibiotics. I mean, swelling and all that went down. But the doctor was like, that could have took you out. And I'm thinking, like, man, life is too short to be upset. That's why, like, man, my personality, bro, that's why I be so laid back, because it's like I done been through so much stuff. I understand how precious life is, right? I understand how precious it is, and how just appreciate. I mean, look at what happened in New Orleans. Like, one of the people who passed away, my wife was telling me a story today, right? One of the girls who passed away snuck out her house. It was a young girl, snuck out her house. Her mom told her she couldn't go. Snuck out, went down there, and now she gone. She gone. Her life gone. She young. I don't even think she was 21. Because she ain't listened to her mama. But even the Bible say, honor thy mother or thy father, or thy days on earth will be short. You know what that's telling us when they say honor? Listen to your parents. Allow your parents to guide you. That's what that scripture means. Honor them. Listen to them. And I understand everyone don't have them parents, right? But when you do, listen to them. Really listen to what your parents, even when you have bad parents, listen to them, watch them, observe them. A lot of the stuff I learned that I don't do is because I observe people doing it. I seen how some of the men treated women, so that's how I know not to treat women. I seen how some of the men let their ego take them away from their whole family, so I don't do it. I learned a lot by watching people doing the wrong thing. So, but that's what that passage means. Honor thy mother, thy father. Listen to your parents, man. Listen to your elders. Make sure you listen to the right ones, right? Don't just listen to every old person. 'Cause sometimes you got old fools, but listen to them older people, man. They been here, they done that, they know some stuff, you know. Lisa J. Stocks is in the building. What up, sis? They know some stuff, so it's always good to listen to the elders. Just listen to the right one. I'm not gonna get into the debate who all is all old. No, no. Some old people are old fools, but I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about we know the right ones. We should have some type of I ain't gonna say discernment because that has to be developed. Our intuition should guide us towards the positive things. So we know when somebody, we can watch the consistency of their behavior, how they carry themselves, how they move. Watching that, you can understand who you can rely on in a person's consistency. What up, though, bro?
What up though? What up though? Nah, it was funny. Like I don't think people gonna believe this, but that's why I brought the new year in, like the year of completion. And it's so funny that we on the same page. But I think a lot of the time that we just gotta take like if we start small, if we take the small steps, we start on the path to completion, right? You gotta, if you really think about it, if you're an infant, right? What you do, you gotta most kids turn on their stomach, right? Parents make sure you don't lay on your stomach. You turn over, go on your stomach. Then you pull yourself up by on to stand in your crib. Then you balance yourself to stand up. Then you walk. All of those are completions of stages. If we look at the stages in that form of fashion, we can worry about the biggest parts of completion going forward. But if we take those little itty bitty steps, we know we can strive in that direction. I think that we need to look at it in that form and in in fashion.
And it's funny you said that because, uh, my boy, he asked me to do him a favor. He want me to um, mentor this young man. I thought he was like a high school kid because my boy a teacher. He like, nah, he 18. I'm like, okay. So I was talking to him today, and one of the things I always tell people is to create a bunch of small goals that lead up to a big goal, you know, or we work backwards. What's your main goal? Okay. So let's make some smaller goals so we can obtain that. How we go get there? What's the vehicle we go travel in? Then we go pave the road. Okay. Um, so like you said, the baby steps, taking those minor steps lead to bigger steps, So, but people just, this microwave society. Meek in the building. What up, Meek? Meek. What up, Meek? But it's about all those small, accomplishments leads to the big. Like think about school. You start off in the first grade, you work yourself up to 12th grade just to get into college. You get an associate's to work towards a doctorate. So in the levels, you start with addition, then you get the multiplication, then you get into fractions. So we have to remember that process. That's just a process. You can call it the process of success. Taking the small steps to lead to the big ones. Stop looking um, for the end result in one step. You know,
Right. I definitely agree with that. Like staying right where you at, right? You said school, right? I might be telling my age a little bit, right? And I'm from New York. So when you go into the classroom, there's a before you sit down, there's something on the chalkboard, and it was like the word was aim. The aim was what is the goal for the day in the class, whether it's learning how to read this English literature, learning how to do division, whatever it is, that's the goal for that class at that particular time. You had a certain amount of time to get it done, right? If you go with that process, you can take the steps that you need to go to get to the bigger part of completion, right? If you learn how to count, right, you can learn how to add. Then you can learn how to subtract. Then you can learn how to multiply. Then you learn how to divide. But it all starts with that very, very one step. You got to learn how to count. That's a completion of understanding, a total understanding of what you need to do, but it has to be completed first. You have to take the step in order to go to the next step. But once you finish that first step, the completion has already been done. Now you can go to phase two, phase three, phase four, right? People will get a little upset when somebody say, you know what, write the vision, make it plain. If you write all you doing is making it visible for you to map out where you need to go in order to get to your ultimate goal. A vision board, right? If you can make a vision board, your goal is to make 10,000. Okay, you gotta ping, ping, ping. You gotta put money in the bank. You gotta put it in the savings account, or you're gonna invest. Shout out to Lisa J. Or you do the things to where you can get to that goal. But in order for you to get to the goal, you gotta learn how to get the assets to invest in the first place. All of these take steps, and with every step that you take, you are completing the your way to the end of your goal, your destination, the final completion, the biggest portion of completion. Battles and wars, right? You may win a lot of the battles, but if you don't win the war, what does it mean? You got to finish it out. The race is not given to the swift nor the strong, but those who endure. And even when you endure all of that, you can see the finish line. You will be completing your race. So that's another aspect that people should be looking at it.
Okay, I was sitting there talking like, so you remember, so that word I told you, right? Epistemology. Um, so basically, let me show you something real quick. So basically, like even through school, like you said, we had to learn how to count before we can add, or we had to learn how to add before we can subtract. So it's just the acquirement of knowledge. So when we talk about epistemology, epistemology is the study of knowledge concerning themselves with a number of tasks which might sort into two categories. Really, it's like four. Um, First, we must determine the nature of knowledge, meaning where does the information come from? Where's this knowledge coming from? Right. So a lot of times we learn from other people, right? And like that brother was saying earlier, you have to be careful who you learn from, because you can be learning something for a long period of time and you learn the wrong thing, right? But now, because you've been learning this for so, it's a fixture in your life. A lot of people, you done created your life around this lie, or I ain't even gonna say lie, or something that's wrong, you know. Um, so you have to be careful how you acquire knowledge. But this isn't like philosophy and psychology, but it's another word I want to share with y'all too. Check this out. Hold on, let me get back to the StreamYard real quick. What up, Nine?
What up, Nines?
Chilling, chilling.
I'm here,
What up,
y'all.
though?
What up, though? Word is back. He's back. You gave us a chance to miss you.
I know, man. I was chilling, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna say chilling. I was, yeah, I was chilling. I had to relax. I had to sit my butt down. I wasn't even really on YouTube. Like, I come in a chat for a minute, but man, I was in so much pain.
Hmm.
I was in a lot of,
Sometimes it feels good to take a break, though, but when you're sick, it's probably not a good time.
yeah, your whole focus, you just focusing on just feeling
Surviving,
better, right? Just feeling
thriving,
better.
surviving.
How much survive? You start feeling like Destiny's Child.
Chet, where you at?
So this is empiricism, right? Now this word is all these words are uh, like philosophical terms. These are all words used in philosophy, right? But empiricism is the theory that all knowledge is derived from sense experience, meaning observation and personal experiences using your five senses. Now, we talked about how we obtain information. It's through our five senses, and those senses, how do we download it? I was telling y'all, the way you download information is through emotions, how you feel about something. That's how you categorize it or put it in a place, if it's good or bad. You might walk somewhere and you ever smell something and like, oh, that stink. But then for some strange reason you taste it like, oh damn, this tastes good. It's a fruit called the durian. It stinks, but it's fucking delicious. It's delicious, but it
Papaya
stinks.
stinks and it's
You,
pretty good to
you,
me.
you see what I'm saying? Is people eat chitlins. It stinks. You cooking it, your house smell like shh, but people eat it.
Yeah.
you know so your sense, one sense is telling you nay, but when you eat it, that taste, that's another sense, is telling you yay. So this is how you, and one will override the other one. People will eat stinky stuff because it tastes good. They will bypass one of those senses, and because they already know, they have prior knowledge. But to get there you have to experience. So that's what empiricism is gaining knowledge through experience, through observation, through self. So that's why I always say
Mm.
information in itself is just to make you aware of something, but the best way to um, decipher if it's positive, negative, if it's beneficial, non-beneficial, is through experience. So until you experience, and then you have to, you like, Selena was talking about astrology, right? So if you go to someone who don't know what they're talking about, you might have a bad experience with astrology. But you go to someone who do know what they're talking about, you might have a good experience. But most people can't decipher why they had the experience. Is it because the astrology is bad, or is it because I went to someone who taught it in a bad way? So like
Or could
people
it be
get
bad timing too?
bad timing. Like, think about people who get married, then go have a bad marriage, and then they be like, I never get married again because of that experience. Okay, you just talking about the experience you had, but what are the factors? What were the circumstances and situation? Like you said, time will fall into the situation. The circumstances will be the person, right? So was it bad timing? And that's more on you. Were you too young? You weren't ready to settle down, or was this person just not the right person for you? So it's not really the experience, is why you had the experience. This is what I'm saying. This is how do people comprehend things? Most people only comprehend on the sixth grade level, and that's not me. That's the psychologist. You can Google the comprehension level. Matter of fact, I'm on Google, man.
Yeah, I think the maturity too, because sometimes you're not at that mature level to digest whatever that is until
Mm-hmm.
maybe a later time.
Yeah, maybe a later time. Tamika, what up, though? Nate the Great in the building. What up, though? I
Nate,
ain't even see you.
baby,
I didn't even see
Tamika.
y'all sneak it. Happy New Year, everybody. I forgot to say that. Happy New Year, man. I hope everybody having a blessed New Year. Like I said, this is the year to 9. So this is the year of completion, wisdom and spirituality. This is a good time to open yourself up to the Creator. Um, I believe that we are spirits. We all have spirits, right? We can say religion and this and that, but the reality is we all have spirits. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Through any philosophy or theology, I can show you, where we are living beings, right? Um, so this is a good time to be in tune with self. Understand what soul or your spirit is trying to connect to. We all here for different reasons. You know, we all been blessed with this gift, and it's up to us to have our own spiritual journey. You know, our own enlightenment. So this would be a good time to get in tune with you and understand you. That's all it is. Your spirit is just you. It's your desires. It's tuning everything else out, the wants and needs of everybody else, what's popular, what's hot. None of that stuff matter. It's all about you. Like, what is your desire? You know, my desire has always been family. You know, and helping people. So that's what I'm designed to do. So I'm indulging more into that this year.
I agree with that. I said that on New Year's Day, right? If you gotta if you gotta understand how to complete things, right? Like I think sometime this week I'm gonna talk about, the completion of the completion of from friendly to friend. It's gonna be, I'm gonna sum it up as best possible. Everybody could be friendly, but everybody may not be your friend. So I'm gonna sum it up like that. But in order to have that completion, you gotta understand what both means. So I'll touch on that. But in order for things to work, you gotta understand where you're coming from, and if you know where you're going, you gotta make the steps possible. And if you make the steps possible, you complete it slowly but surely. You don't have to do everything at one big rush. You can take your time the and get to your destination, whatever it is, whether you gotta do completions of separating from people or coming together, right? The fact that you're trying to complete the task is what's going to matter. And if you know you need to do it, you're going to do it. And that completion is going to be satisfying, to say the least.
Yeah. Don't sit on the side of the road too long because you might run out of gas or your battery might die. Always try to keep it moving.
Keep it moving. I'm I'm
Because
designed to be
last
an
year,
AI god. I ain't listening to Nate.
the Natrix, last year I kept waiting like my time is coming, my time is coming. And coming into this new year, like I know I'm bracing myself because I have a lot of stuff. So I'm like I'm bracing myself, but I know I'm gonna get through the things that I have control over. The ones I don't have control over, it is what it is. I have to just
Mhm.
trust and have faith. Yeah. And I was reminded today with some of the stuff they were talking about too. So it was nice, even though I didn't catch all of it.
And that's it was a couple things like, man, I'm listening. I'm like, it's but I just think is I don't really be knowing that. I don't like getting in conversations like that because I don't know if people be accepting the information. I hear them saying all this stuff, but then it's like, if I tell you you're contradicting yourself, then is that a bad thing? Because like, 1 minute is like you say don't believe in self, but then you tell me God is inside of you. So if God is inside of me, then believing in myself is godly. Like, that's me trusting in God, believing in myself. If God put everything in me,
Mhm.
so why wouldn't I believe in myself? You telling me I don't, and then like it's levels to everything, right? So when I say anthropomorphism, right, we have to identify what that is. And when we start giving God human attributes, where we don't understand like the psychology behind that. It's just literally is a psychology behind that. When we start giving God human attributes, because that's the way we are identifying or describing. But
I think that's the way we digest it better. Like we
yeah, that's how
can
we comprehend.
relate to it.
Yeah, that's literally the psychology of it. That's why people do it. Like, if you look up anthropomorphism, it will tell you this is how people comprehend God, or even people do it with animals. Understand, they will start using human attributes This is how we get Mickey Mouse and all shit like that. I'm being
But
real.
there's different ways to learn things, so it's like I don't think it's necessarily bad.
No, it's
But
not.
you've opened me up to that, so I try to think of it as a different way and catch myself. But it may
But
not be necessarily all that
and
detrimental.
it's not. I don't. It's how it's utilized, right? To comprehend the spirit of God. If you put it in a human aspect, that's fine. Just don't make God human. You see what I'm saying? Like, just don't, because now you're limiting God to what you are. That's what we do oftentimes. And when you do that, what happens is when things happen, you be like, God, why would you let this happen? God ain't got nothing to do with that. That's humans' actions. If somebody do harm to a baby, that ain't got nothing to do with God.
But then we think, why would God allow for humans
And
to
that's
have
what
that
I'm.
type of control,
But see,
that type of
but we say God gave us free will.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is this. I'm saying we giving, like, people give too much power to the devil. Or Satan did this. No, people did that.
Yeah, we made those choices.
Yeah, people. Satan means adversary. Satan ain't got nothing to do now. Do you work in the spirit of Satan? Yeah, we can say that. You're resonating that energy, that demonic energy, but that's still you. And we take the accountability away from people by giving it to God and Satan.
But
God
sometimes
gets
I think that Satan uses, like, sometimes I feel like with certain situations, I'm like, oh no, Satan's just using you to get to me. That's
it's,
how I try to.
because that feels good. It feels like it's
Well,
something
sometimes,
when you
yeah.
feel. Now check this out. When you feel wronged, it feels good to feel like it's something bigger than you making you feel this way.
Well, I'm saying, like, when another person is saying some stuff or doing some stuff to me, I may not think necessarily like no, it's not you the person, but you're allowing Satan to work through you, just like God works through us, right, to show love to other people. Like, Satan can work through that person, like that person's allowing Satan to come in and work through them in a negative
I wouldn't
way.
even say it's allowing Satan. That person is Satan. That's just the energy. That's literally the energy. Negative energy. This is how we comprehended bad things. We gave it a entity. We called it Satan. And
So
the
if God
higher
can
things,
reside in us, so can Satan.
they both reside in you. Good and
They
evil
both
resides
reside
in you.
good in it.
Yeah, you're
Absolutely.
made from good and evil. You're literally made from good and evil. You have duality within you. So it's more of less what you lean into. Do you lean into the demonic or the lower self? That's all Satan
Hmm.
is your lower self. Satan,
Mm-hmm.
this is what I'm saying is people have to, when we do that, we lose accountability for people. We give it to a
Hmm.
supernatural presence when you are the supernatural presence. Whatever is projected out of you is in you. So we all have that. So what are you leaning? This is why the Muslims, when they use that word jihad, spiritual warfare. Now, when you ask some radicals, they talk about some physical war on the planet, but that's not what it means. It means your inner self. You're having spiritual warfare every second of the day. Are you gonna let the lower side, the devil, take hold, and are you gonna project that, or are you gonna let the higher side, the God energy in you, take hold, and are you gonna project that? You're going through jihad every day. Like if somebody was to come in here right now and start trolling me, calling my mom and my kids names and stuff, how what am I gonna project out? Is that gonna make me upset and mad? Are you gonna see the devil come out of me, or you gonna
So
see the
these,
God?
like, the thoughts that we have, right? Like, sometimes, okay, these thoughts that come in, there are thoughts, but sometimes it's like, well, like you said, God, Satan. So these thoughts, you can say, no, that those thoughts are not, they're not, you can reject those
That's
thoughts.
my lower self. Yeah, that's my lower self. That's how you identify it. That's my
Because
lower
I'll
self.
stop and reject them. Not today, Satan. Nope, that's a lie. Those thoughts
Mm-hmm.
you're having, sometimes you have to stop them.
You
Speak to
do.
them. Speak back to them. I know it
And
sounds crazy.
no, it don't. Because what do I say before I end every show? Care about how
What do
you
you
feel.
say? Care about
Yeah,
how you
about how you
feel?
feel.
So
But how you
those,
feel sometimes can be deceiving. So when when the brother said how where you were questioning like that it's a kind of like he's saying one thing and then the other, but like it can be deceiving.
Yeah, your feelings, and that's why you have to identify. This is why you have to be in tune with God. All this stuff is not outside of you; it's inside. That's the only
But I
thing.
think
Like I don't be bashing people. I'm just telling everything that they say is outside is really inside. Those
right.
conversations. That's why I say you go to the altar and leave it there and let God handle it, and you walk away from the altar is you. You have to walk away from certain things. You like when you having those negative thoughts. Everybody has them. Something happened, you be pissed off, ready to. Okay, look, that's not beneficial. That's not helpful. That's gonna hurt. They say they call it ego. You have to defeat your ego. It's really your ID. And distinctive desires. And that
Mm,
instinctive desire is to survive. So when something happens, that's why people react and become capricious because they go into the ID to be protected. That's the part that protects us. That's our devil. So you remember back in the day when you had them cartoons and you had the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the
the
other
devil
shoulder?
level.
Yeah, that's your super ego is actually the angel. That's your divine side. That's your side. That's righteousness that you put others before you. Now the devil is your ID, your instinctive desires. That's your survival mode. That's the part. Why can't I close it?
Well, and what you're watching, what you're seeing, like who you're around, like
Mm-hmm.
what you're feeding yourself, what you're putting yourself around begins to kind of take over if you let it. Like remember when you said take 70, was it 70 something days to create a habit? Was it something
72.
like that?
72
Yeah.
days. Nine. That
Yeah.
leaves that adds up to nine. Completion.
79 days.
No,
Mm,
72. Seven
mm,
plus two equals nine. Number of
72 days.
completion. Yep.
Completion.
So those are habits. So if you're exposing yourself to something for more than 72
Mm-hmm.
days, you may unknowingly,
Mm-hmm.
unwillingly be creating a habit.
Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
if I don't want to say it again.
I
Y'all
know I
heard
just had
it.
to put you on the spot because it was funny. What
If in
writers
those
say,
72 days you're putting yourself around something, listening, feeding yourself something, you are unwillingly, unknowingly creating a habit.
and this is why I tell you, whatever you pay attention to is influencing you, and you're paying with your time. So if you paying attention to something non-beneficial, eventually, like you said, that's gonna be imprinted onto you. It's gonna develop a habit. You're gonna be accustomed to it. It's gonna become a normal. So
And
you
when you
have to
sit
be.
too long,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
You have to
When
be
you
careful.
sit too long, yeah, then
No, go
yeah.
ahead. Go ahead. You got it.
No, 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 because I was thinking that's why when you sit too long, that's why I say don't pull over on the side of the road for too long, because you might stay stuck. You created a habit of
Hmm.
staying stuck.
Yep. Pulled over. Your tire gets stuck in the mud. What you pulling over for? You only pulling over if you run out of gas or if it's too much rain and all of that other stuff. Just something trying to stop you is a what's my favorite word? Just something that's trying to keep you stagnated. You got to be prepared
Yeah.
for it. Like a lot of people don't understand that the incompletion of faith is what has people not believing in themselves. If you understand that you have to complete the understanding of what faith is inside of you, you understand that you are a storehouse. You understand that everything that you need in this year completion has already been added unto you. If they was to understand that, they would go inside themselves, find the gift, stir it up, and begin to use it to get them where they need to go. But because they forget that there's a when you overflow, the overflow comes from within you. They look outside in. That's why everybody keeps looking up to the hill instead of understanding. the valley is a stepping stone for you. You got to keep using it to go up. But they just continuously we keep our head up so we don't get on our lower self. But people just, they forget that, the best way to go is up. So they simplify it like keep your head up, but you got to still do the work. Faith without works is dead. If you don't have the work to keep your faith up, you ain't going nowhere. And that's a lot of the problem that people have today.
Well, then it's
Uh,
gonna take you longer to get out of that hole. That's what happened to me
Hey,
the last
writers,
couple of years.
I'm gonna give you some ragu sauce right now. Check this out. When you read the Bible, you'll notice that prayer is the art of asking, right? But when you look at stories like Job, even Isaiah, when you look at stories like King Solomon, they never prayed. They always paid homage. It was always giving something to God, giving thanks. They always made it materials, but when you get into like the Arabic, it was more or less they created altars, and those altars was there so they can go pay homage, right? It turned into prayer later, but uh, prayer is literally the art of asking. And even like Job never prayed; he always paid homage. It was always some sacrifice he was doing, or some giving he was doing, or some
Yep.
eliminating he was doing. Like even when you talk about fasting, that's paying homage to God. That's not praying to God. That's not asking for nothing because everything is already given. We don't have to ask for anything. What we have to do is match the frequency to it. We have to have faith that it will come because it's already
Yeah.
given, you know.
Thank you,
So
Lord. Thank you, Lord.
yeah, I tell people I don't pray. I don't have to ask for anything. I never had to question God because I know everything is divine and is in his right place and it's gonna happen the way it's supposed to. So why would I ask God why something happened when I already know all this is divine intervention, and even if it's painful, it's meant for me to learn from. I know that.
Yep.
So I never asked, even through I've been shot, I've been stabbed, family members, people turned on me. I never asked God why. I knew it was a revelation, it was a revealing, and it was for a reason. The things that hurt the most gives us the best lessons, have given me the deepest lessons, gave me the most understanding, gave me the most patience. The things that hurt me the most. I didn't understand why my stepfather treated me the way he did until I learned his background and I seen the way he came up, and I learned so much from that. So now I can be a better father moving forward. You know, um, so yeah, I never pray. I
But
always
that's why.
give thanks.
But that's what. But see, the thanks. But you giving thanks. That's the praise, right? And that's why people don't.
There you go.
And that's why
Well, some
people
people
don't
call it
understand.
worship.
But that's why people don't understand that the tribe of Judah is the most important tribe in the whole thing. It's not about the Levites that's teaching, it's the fact that the tribe of Judah is the tribe of praise. And you don't have to pray when you praising. And people don't
Hmm.
understand that. So that's why I said when you have the incomplete understanding of faith, you don't get the grasp or understand. That's why they tell you to praise through your suffering, praise through the
Yeah,
circumstance, praise through the trials and the tribulations, because you praising it is going to pull you up out of there. You praying for it is going to keep you stagnated.
it will keep
Sorry
you
to tell
steady.
people this, but that's just the God honest truth. But if you don't understand that, but that's the religion aspect of it. That's why you should be Christ-like. You don't. Christ never prayed about it. Christ said, "Listen, forgive them, God, because they don't know what they're doing." That wasn't a prayer. He was just saying it out like, "Yo, they don't know what they're doing." That's why when he went and fasted, he didn't pray. He said, "Yo, I'm gonna just say what it is. Man can't live on bread alone, but on every word that God is speaking." If you understand what it is, you got to encourage yourself out of the trials, out of the situations. But if you don't know how to encourage yourself, what are you doing? You still sitting in the damn valley. You still in the wilderness for 40 years. That's what people got to understand. But that's the incompletion of faith. That's why you got to get to the completed side of faith, and then you'll understand everything that's talk that we speaking about is for your benefit and not your hindrance. My bad. I was preaching. My bad.
No, you good, man. Let it go. Let it
I
go.
think prayer is like a secret gem that people just don't know. Like if you do that, create that habit in the 72 days, just pray every day, 72 days. Speak to God. Thank him for the good, the bad, for going before your path, making the crooked places straight, like moving all things for your good. Like that is a secret gem, I think, in my opinion, even more than just reading a Bible. Because you can read a Bible, but that's not speaking, in my opinion. It's different.
Look, I tell people this: when you read the Bible, just read it with the intent to become aware of things. Don't take those things, because that's somebody else. Any way you want to look at it, it's somebody else's experience, and them people dead and gone. You don't know what was happening unless you do. Now you do the history, you do the study, and then we can have conversation. But you just got to realize that stuff is to make you aware what possibilities are. Now you, like you said, you develop the relationship with God, your own. Now you know it's possible because these people had a relationship with God. So now you can develop a relationship with God, and you can. I'm not telling you write a Bible, but you gonna have your own story, your own experience with God, and you gonna have your
Your
own
whole
testimony. Yeah, you gonna
Yep.
have your own testimony. And your experience and your testimony can help the next person, just like that Bible is helping you. So that's what it's there for, man. People use it, they start weaponizing it. But
Well,
it's
some
just
people.
information. That's all it is to make you aware. You ain't supposed to. I be hearing people. Now, if you look back at Isaiah's chapter, like, bruh, look, okay, that happened back then, bro. Let's talk about it now. Well, it's happening again now. Well, history repeats itself, right? And this look, man. I want to take y'all to a different level of consciousness, right? It's just some things you got to let go. Like when people like, look, man. If you go to IKEA, right? You go to IKEA and you get a dresser, and that dresser comes with instructions, and you use those instructions to put the dresser together, would you say those instructions was a prophecy of you putting that dresser together?
Why you do that, man?
I'm just asking, man. I'm
No.
Don't
just
do that.
you see what I'm
Don't
saying?
do
So
that.
so when people read in the Bible, they you let that go. If anything, okay, you can say the prophecies in the Bible coming to true because you got a damn instruction manual.
But
People,
people can perceive that instruction. They can read it. Each person can read it a different way, and then like construct their furniture totally messed up
yeah.
because
I
they read it
mean, and
wrong
that's what happens. So I can show you that what you just said. Do you know
or
how
they
many
interpreted it wrong.
Do you know how many? Do you know the Nazis tried to bring the revelations to life, to forth? You know how many people? Man, look, I'm not gonna get into all that because we monetize, but is religious people have been trying to bring the end of times to up to date. They've been trying to do that. So
Yeah, it's
you got
quite
an instruction
interesting.
manual. That's what it is. Like people, what do they tell you? The Bible is basic instruction before leaving Earth is an instruction manual, right? So if stuff coming, that's because people doing that weird shit. That's
Just
why.
give me the
Uh,
parachute. Just hand me the parachute. What up, writers? What up, Nine?
What up, Nine? What up, Ryder?
What up? What up? What's up? What's up?
Up here just spitting. I ain't been on for a minute, so I'm just talking shit.
I know how people was MIA for a while.
Yeah, man, I've been messed up. I had to get a tooth pulled out my head. Man, look, that was one of the
Wait, wait,
craziest.
wait, 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 wait. We're not gonna let that one slide. Wait,
Not his head. Not
I
out his
was
head. Out his mouth.
Man, no, man, that shit came out my bro. I'm telling you, y'all ever had a tooth pulled? Man, that shit.
Many.
I felt
All
like I
four of
was.
my wisdom.
Man, I felt like I was on like some Texas Chainsaw Massacre type shit. I'm hearing shit cracking. There's pieces of teeth flying everywhere. There's blood.
They're
I'm like, what is
hammering,
going on?
tugging,
Yeah, I'm like,
pulling,
hold on, bro. What's going on,
drilling.
man? Like, leave that motherfucker in, bro. You doing too much. Like, I'm numb, but I'm like, bro, my head is like I'm in a mosh pit. I'm head banging. The lady trying to hold me. I'm like, bro, this is weird. Like, I had a tooth pulled before, but it was never like this, man.
Street sharks. That's
And
Yeah.
it's bone, so that's why everything hurts, because they're tapping on your bone.
Mm.
I got 2 wisdom teeth pulled out in the molar. Yeah, that John hurt like. And you know what's crazy? I learned a little while after that I should have never pulled that wisdom tooth out or that molar.
I gotta get a wisdom tooth pulled out. I still got one, two. I still got three wisdom teeth. I only had one taken out.
I only got 2 taken out, and they had to take it out because my jaw is real small.
I had
The
all
pain
4
is
done
bad.
in one day.
We supposed to have 4? I only got
Yeah,
2 taken out.
yeah. You supposed to have four.
Oh
All in
snap!
one day.
I had one taken out. Now the back one, I don't know how I cracked it, but I gotta get that pulled out. I said y'all gonna have to wait till a couple months.
Was
I'm
that
straight.
today or
No,
yesterday
that
they pulled it?
what's today? Yeah, yesterday they pulled it. Was it
Yesterday.
yesterday or the day before yesterday?
So what they give
You
you?
know, I was drugged up the last couple of days. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it was the
yeah,
day before yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. This is
yeah.
day 2. No, it was my wife was off yesterday. No, it was yesterday. It was Thursday, whatever Thursday was. So,
Oh, you should be good now. I'm just kidding.
oh no, You know what? You know what? I was good when the pain is not even like pain. Like it's annoying me. Like the pain is annoying. It's
You know
not
what?
like now before Christmas. I was in so much. I didn't sleep for 2 days. That's how much pain I was in. I had to
Well, yeah,
switch
and it's gonna
water.
mess with your head too.
Yeah,
Like
it got
everything
into
hurts.
the infection got into my lymph node and under my TMJ, my jawbone.
Oh
So
snap!
I had
Oh,
pain
you
in
had to
my
have an
tooth.
emergency.
Yeah, I had pain in my tooth
Oh,
and I
yeah.
had pain in my jaw and it was shooting up to my head and down my neck.
Yeah.
I was having
Oh,
spasms.
yeah.
I couldn't lay down.
Ouch.
I had to sit up. If I laid down, the
Yeah.
pain was excruciating. So no,
Damn.
it was like 2 days I didn't even sleep. I ain't sleep like the 23rd and the 24th. I got a little sleep on Christmas and then the 26th I didn't sleep and then I went into the hospital the 27th. They loaded me up with because that's my sister's birthday. They loaded me up with IVs. I got out the 28th.
Did you
The
lose
20.
weight? You probably weren't eating good either.
You know what? I'm down to 245. Yeah, so I probably lost
5
about 7,
pounds?
8 pounds. Like 7, 8 pounds. I was 250 something. You
Hey, they
know.
gave you a good head start.
But this summer I was like 265. But see, my weight, like if you see me, you wouldn't even. I carry. It's just I worked out my whole life, so the way I carry weight is different. Like my muscles just turned into fat, so I still got my frame. I got a belly now. I never had a belly, but like if you from the back, my shoulders, my chest, all that, I'm still toned. Everything is still toned except for my belly, and my thighs got smaller. My thighs
Okay,
used to be like
TMI.
huge.
It feels weird hearing a man say this.
I know, right?
This is my first time.
What? What I say? Hold on. What I do?
No,
How
you
your
talking about your
frame is still
thighs,
the
Describing your
same.
body.
yeah, your
Oh, that.
body,
But
your
I
face, your
mean, if
thighs.
you talk to people who worked out, you know, I mean,
Scary.
y'all must don't talk. I mean, you talk to people who work out, bro. Bro, I can tell you how big my arms was. I can tell you how big my shoulders was,
Oh,
my back
yeah.
was, my
No, no,
lats,
no.
my
But
chest. I can tell
Slap the
you,
strap.
like, because I got a
Oh,
lot
yeah,
of. I used to have to get my suits tailored, you know, because my shoulders are real broad. But
you gotta go to
I
big and
never had
tall.
a stomach before, so it's like I'm big at the top and I was slim at the bottom. So I had to get bigger shirts to go. So I had to get all my suits tailored. So I know it ain't my bust size, but I know my chest size. Yeah.
See,
Yeah, my screensaver is my husband with his muscles like that. I have a picture
my
of him as my
husband.
screensaver. My husband.
Man, I'll
Dee
get it.
Dee. What up, Dee Dee? I don't know if she was here before. I just saw her in the chat.
She was in here earlier.
Dee 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 Dee.
And my wife and my mom always be showing like older pictures. Like, look at my. I'll be like, man, I'm 40 years old. That's crazy.
Yeah, I understand.
You're still
Yeah,
young.
though.
Yeah, I'm still young. I'm just saying it's crazy though to think like, oh, that was 20 years ago. Like, damn, hold on, bro. I'm that old. I remember when I was 20.
This shows goes to show you time is flying and people ain't doing, people ain't even adjusting to the time. It's just flying. It's just crazy.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna be one of them old people trying to be young. I'm enjoy getting old. I'm straight. I be seeing people 50 years old sagging and wearing hats. Like, bro, y'all need to chill. Like,
I
like,
thought
bro,
you was talking
that
about
shit look weird, man. I'll be like, bro, let it go, let it go. You see people trying to get tapers and they hairline all the way, bro. Cut it off. It's gone. It's done. Like, bro, enjoy getting old, man. Stop wearing these young people clothes. Old people sagging. Like, bro, your depends go be showing.
ain't.
Like, like you still wearing briefs and shit. Like, come on now, man. Stop sagging, bro. Don't
Don't
do
talk about the president that way.
Oh man,
Wait,
you
he
made me
made him
drop
drop the
my
mic.
headphone.
Who dropped the mic?
You made me drop my headphone.
See, damn, how he dropped the headphones? They on your head. Damn,
Man.
Commander. Like, what's up with you, Commander? We got
What
Marvin in the house.
up?
Yo, what up, now?
What up, nah?
Who
Where's
is it?
Tate?
What's his name? The one
Tay
that
sleeps.
Magneto. That's his name. That's Commander.
I don't know who that is, but I'll
Yo,
take it.
Y'all know who Magneto is off the X Men?
damn.
Off of where?
Off the X
X-Men.
Men.
No.
Oh
Oh,
man.
I think I've only seen one X-Men movie, I think.
the movie. I'm talking about the cartoon, the comic book.
Oh, my bad.
He
You
comes out in
never
the movie
watched
too.
that?
It's the funny part though.
No.
Wait a minute.
Damn.
She watched the movie, don't know who Magneto is though. Like
Sorry,
that
guys.
one.
I'm not into movies.
I am.
I'm not into those
But
characters.
yeah, Commander's Magneto, all the way from her house, she just took off his headphones like pew. Like, she got powers over there. Like damn.
I did have to go watch a
Magnetized.
movie with my husband. It was like a scary movie.
Well, allow me. I was about to use a term that I'm not going to use, but allow me to expose you to who Magneto is.
Uh-oh.
I would be honored. So this is Magneto. He like controls all metal or
Magnets?
anything that can be
Oh,
magnetized. So even
I've
like the
never
iron
seen
in your
him.
blood, he can control that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
He's one. He's like one of the top mutants in the X Men.
He's got a lot of muscles.
You know, Magneto is the man,
Magneto.
and he was. You don't want to know something interesting?
I've never seen Magneto in my life. It's the
You
first
want
time
to?
I see.
You're not supposed to see him. I hope you've never met Magneto in your life. Like damn.
He kind of looks like a transformer, kind of like the headpiece.
You want to hear something interesting? Like if you look at him and Professor Xavier's storyline, Magneto was the representation of Malcolm X, and Professor X was the representation of Malcolm. And if you, at that time when this was created, if you look at like black people, you had a group of black people who just wanted to assimilate, and then you had a group of black people who wanted to fight, you know, for what was theirs. And that was the same thing with the mutants. You had Professor X, who created the X-Men, who just wanted to be cool and assimilate with the humans. And then you had Magneto, like, hold on, y'all hunting and treating us like this. Nah, we ain't taking that. We gonna fight back. You know, so um, Magneto represented Malcolm and Professor X representing Martin. And that's how the writer structured the whole X-Men saga.
Yep. One wanted to integrate. One wanted to send me back to Plymouth Rock.
So are these like anthropomorphisms?
Yeah, I
These
mean,
characters, these superheroes?
in a sense, it is. You know,
It is.
because they're
That's why I laughed.
anthropomorphized. Yeah, it's almost like reverse, if you will, because they took something that was human and made it godly versus making God human.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd probably be like more of reverse anthropomorphism.
If people don't notice that half these movies, half these cartoons, all the comic books represent a god or something that happened in the history books. People don't peep that.
Hmm. Yeah, they all inspired by different gods. I mean, Superman is Jesus. Believe it or not.
All the way to the
Well, the movie I
necklace.
watched was like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I better go look at it because the movie was called something like, I don't even remember anymore. I
She
thought
saw
it was
me
gonna
go.
be like an anime, like Naruto or something, but it was like some kind of demon. I have to
Ooh,
look up the name because I can't remember. Do you guys know
I
what movies are out?
saw a lot of movies out.
With new movies
Um,
out.
I just felt like all the previews were like the movies were like bad. I'm like, this is why the world is the way it is.
Hey,
These damn movies.
Man, those
I,
movies be
I,
exposing so many things,
yep.
and they just be going. I mean, all these movies condition you into what's coming. That's all they do. If you think about the Jetsons, you know, a lot of stuff on the Jetsons we have today. A lot of stuff
Mhm.
we've seen in the '80s are prevalent now today.
The
You
word
know,
might know. How long has the Equalizer movies have been out?
you said who?
The Equalizer movies. How long they've been out?
You talking about with
Denzel.
Denzel.
Denzel?
Because the show is with Queen Latifah, and I'm almost done watching the show, and it's crazy how with the movies and in the show you've learned about a lot of the projects, a lot of the stuff that's going on,
Man,
stuff like that.
you wouldn't like the stuff like. Man, I can tell you
That's
some
why I just
shit.
said it like that. You should just
If
make
I told you some stuff, you wouldn't believe me. You wouldn't believe me.
it.
I mean, is like what ignorance. When they say ignorance is bliss,
Mhm.
people. Remember, I was on your show. Remember, I told you like if you really knew the truth about things that'll freak you out. This
Oh, I'm learning.
when I tell people like you, um, only thing you have control over is you. That's
Mhm.
all you have control over. All the stuff that's happening is going down. It ain't nothing you can do about it. Only thing you can control is how you feel. You can't. You don't even look. If they wanted to get you out of here, they can do that and put a news story on. Well, nobody blink twice. Even if your family cry and complain and protest, that don't mean none of that stuff means anything. Honestly, I'm just being real.
That's a
None
fact.
of that stuff. When you start seeing these big protests, it's for a reason. You know how many people die, unjustly every day if it's from the hands of cops or from the hands of people, and you never hear about it. So when you hear about it, it's for a reason. This world is not what y'all think it is, and if you figure out what it is,
Mm.
you'd be scared. This is why people go insane because they figure shit out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being real. Like that's. I mean, but I mean, why focus on that? I mean, you can focus on that, but then you go get into all the conspiracy theory, like these drones flying around, these orbs and shit. This was all predicted already. They
Mm-hmm.
conditioned you to it, watching it. You've been watching this shit for the last 20 years, and now that it's happening, look how people respond. You got some people freaked out, but most people like so.
Right?
Hey,
I'm like, where is it? I want to see it. Come to my house.
Right, you know what
That's
I'm
how I
saying?
am.
But see, that's what I'm saying. It's like they conditioned you to. Now imagine this shit happening 20 years ago. You said lights and shit flying. You'd be like, oh shit, what is this going on? You know, we even calling it drones. Why? Because we created drones. We fly the same thing. We fly drones, right? But why don't the drones we got do what they was doing? You got
Mhm.
cars going crazy. No, that's something different. We have something similar, but we ain't got that. That's something different.
I keep saying that people not listening. Like, listen, I was listening to the word in the beginning. Like when I really started listening to him, I went down that rabbit hole. It didn't scare me. It didn't shock me. It's just something new that I learned. Like I wanted to keep learning more, and it's crazy that I'm like, damn, like people not really listening. They it's like people know the truth, they just don't care. That's some real shit.
Uh,
That's why it's like
people,
a lot of this shit is right there in our faces. The truth is right there. This like I keep saying, the Bible is not a prediction. The Bible is just how can I say, like the word said earlier, is a guide. It's just, telling us what's happening in the past, and we're recreating the past. That's us.
Hmm.
That's how you recycle.
Oh man, that's what people.
Shit, the fuck? I keep saying it.
Oh man, look, people will if because you know why history repeats itself. I want you to think about this. Is what I'm saying. I'm trying to expand consciousness. We have to talk about these things. It's a cycle. But why does history repeat itself? Because motherfuckers don't learn. That's why they keep doing the same stupid shit over and over and over. That's why
That's
Yeah.
we keep going to wars for the same stupid things, right? We keep hurting each other for the same things instead of coming together. We haven't learned yet. We keep finding more reasons to divide than to come together. We use
Yep.
politics, we use religion, we use race, we use all these different things to divide from one another versus coming together.
that's a fact.
And we wonder why history keeps repeating itself because we keep doing the same stupid shit over and over and over. My bad.
And now they'll use God as an excuse.
That's what
Well,
I'm
I'll be
telling
there's
saying,
you.
they're like, God,
new
God.
people born every day.
They're like, God, but I'm saying, I'm like, you saying God is such a righteous man? I was like, well, the wells in the Bible tells me otherwise. Everything he did when he got mad tells me otherwise. I'm not bashing him or bringing him down, but please don't tell me that he didn't have a temper or that he didn't get, he didn't do something back. I mean, in the story, it says itself what he did. Like, and I'm tired of hearing that Jesus is God. I'm saying, yeah, Jesus is a prophet. God is God. Like, he's two different people. One is a spirit, one was a person. Like, what the hell? But I guess I'm reading the Bible wrong. I'm
Jerry,
misunderstanding it. And I guess the word is tripping.
there's so many questions.
I mean, there is, but it's right there. Like, either people don't have an imagination or, logic isn't logic. I use
No,
your
I think that's the
imagination to
problem.
make logic. Like, what the fuck?
That's the problem. They have the imagination. They don't want to bring it into reality. That's the problem. They just want to imagine. They just want to view it. They don't want to bring it into fruition. If they do, they would understand that the more work that you do, the better that you become. I almost
Facts.
thought word took that better you, better a better use, a better us from there, but I might be tripping. But I'm just saying, if you really take the time to look at it, right? If you understand all of that, like I just said, write the vision, make it plain. That's what the Bible is. They wrote a vision, they made it plain, and people understand in Revelation that that beast is going to get out every 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is a day. That's going to happen every day, but they don't even want to understand that part. I'm getting too deep. I'm gonna stop talking.
Mm,
All right, all right. I didn't know that. 1,000 years is a
Mm,
day.
that might have
Well, because
went
of
in
the
their
people's
you
head,
go.
age.
bro.
Hey, you just sounded like a church. You hear that? Hey, I know. Let me stop.
The word is smoking. He's taking a smoke break.
They don't want that science.
Lord
Y'all
be to
can't hear me?
God.
Can
We
y'all hear
I
can't
me?
think
barely hear you. Barely.
you sound very far. Damn, Commander, them powers was yo. She got some strong powers from where she was at.
Yeah,
Oh, yo,
He's in outer space right now. Listen, I saw a UFO when I was a little kid, and now I realize with all these drones coming out, like that's what I saw. That's what I saw, one of those drones.
she said it's literally what I saw.
And then I try to look up like when did drones exist, like modern, and yep, that's what I saw.
So did it take you and did it do experiments on you? Like, what did it do to you? Do you
No, it
remember?
didn't take me. No, I just saw it. But
if
I
it,
knew it
Yeah.
wasn't
if
a
it would
plane because if it would have took me, what?
have took you, I would have called you Enoch. I would have been scared of you.
Can y'all
But
hear me
like
now?
people were trying to tell me it's a plane. Oh, you must have saw a plane. But I was like,
You saw
no, because it
Superman?
was moving. It was moving around, down, up, and then leaving, coming. You know what I'm saying? It was a damn drone, and I
She
didn't
saw
know.
Superman. She saw Superman. It's a
Who you
bird.
think?
It's a plane.
Who you think made the drone? You want to hear something unique though? We don't get the technology that we get for like consumers. It's like 20 years old,
Yeah.
15 years old. So, like I said, even the drones that we fly now, they don't do the shit that you seen them other drones do. Just some
Mm.
basic stuff
Mm.
we got. bare minimum. You
Right.
know, China talk about unveiling flying cars. You think we don't have that? They call them spaceships.
Hmm. We're the Flintstones, the rich people, the Jetsons. That's it.
Have you seen the
Yep.
police officers with the packs where they like hover? It's meant so that they can rescue people like on the mountains or have you seen that yet? That came out
Yeah,
already
Mm-mm.
like a few years
yeah.
ago or something. Yeah.
But would you believe
But
me?
that's
I was a,
oh, I almost said something. That's I seen those uh they had hover packs in '99, like
mm,
jetpacks
I
in
remember those.
'99. No, I'm
I,
not
li-
talking about what you seen on TV. I'm talking about something totally different.
I know what you're talking about.
They just have to learn how to control
But I
it,
was
how to drive it, how to move around in it.
dun,
Mm-mm.
dun, 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 dun.
Tamika Davis, how you doing? Yeah,
But
it's all this stuff's crazy. I can't wait till I see a drone or like 15 of them.
no,
I don't
we're
want
about
to
to
see no more of those. Mm-mm. You can have that.
listen. We're
I
about
don't
to
even
be
want
in
to know.
the. We're about to be in that movie. What is it called? Is it the Militia Man? I think it is.
The
The
militia
one with
man, yeah.
Wesley. The one with Wesley Snipes, and I forgot who was it. Arnold. It's not Arnold, was it? Or was it Sylvester? It's one of the two.
Oh,
Sylvester.
Demolition Man.
Yeah, that he ate a rat burger and shit. Yeah, we're about to look like in that movie. That's what everything's about to look like. People don't get it. They listen. These people, they know what they're doing over there.
Yeah,
A
y'all
I'm
rat
dumb need to
trying to
watch
say it
that.
in ways that they're telling us little by little. We think that all this is new, but little by little they're telling us, man. But if y'all don't peep throughout the years, they've been telling us through the movies. People want, oh, they're just telling us this through the news, like the deep fake stuff. That's why I sound like, yo, all this stuff has been talked about, like in the Equalizer movies. What is it, the Mission Impossible movies, and all them type of movies. I wish I paid attention to them,
They're
but
not just movies. So when my husband goes, it's just a movie. Nah, that's not just a movie.
it
A
is a
lot of
movie. It's there for entertainment, but there's messages in between. But people only pay attention to the entertainment. Like for example, I'm gonna put this as an example. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. When I watch a karate movie, I'm not paying attention to what they're saying. I'm watching the action and the fighting because I really don't understand what they're saying, so I don't care sometimes. But I'm just trying to point something out. It's like other
Oh,
people is like that with a lot of movies. They just there for the entertainment. If the movie's not entertaining, they're not going to watch it. If it doesn't have good graphics, they're not going to watch it. See where I'm
I
coming
fall
from?
asleep. I fall asleep in the movies. In this movie we went to watch, my husband's like, I'm surprised you didn't fall asleep. Yeah, because they were that demon was speaking in some other language, and I couldn't sleep through that. I had to like rebuke everything he was saying. I didn't want.
I'm
I didn't
dead.
want to get hypnotized or get a spell put upon me. That's why I couldn't sleep.
Only
oh, they
one.
must have been speaking in tongues. Oh, let me not say that too loud. My bad.
They was
Oh,
talking in
I
Exorcist.
I typed what movie it was in the chat.
Yeah, I see it. What is it? Nosferatu. Nosferatu, whatever it is. I ain't never heard that. I'm scared to watch that. But I might watch it just
Yeah,
to see what I get from it.
I'm about to
the
watch
girl
it
woke
too.
him up because the girl was praying and was asking for whatever to come to her, anything to come to her. She woke it up.
Yeah. I like
I
horror
watch
movies.
movies for weird reasons. I watch movies for the craziest reasons, right? So I was watching Star Wars. I seen
Hey,
all nine of the Star Wars, all nine of them. I watched it. I binge watched it, and I
Hmm.
noticed that only three people was in not in the whole entire movie. Three
Was
people
what?
that recurred, three people recurred in all of the movies.
oh,
Two of
They
them
were
was the
cured?
robot. No, they reappeared. All of them made it through all nine movies. Three of them.
Oh, okay, got you. Like three characters.
Yeah, three characters. Two of them were the robots, and the robots had to get their minds cleansed out. They got it. They got it reprogrammed. And the other one was Chewbacca.
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 Now I'm saying that right now, if people was to put that into biblical form and go through the Exodus the Exodus move When they left Egypt, only 3 of them came out of Egypt and went to the promised land. So if people was to understand the Bible, they would pick that up real quick and say, damn, that's like they trying to tell you this is something like matching biblical proportions. But people don't study like that. So when you don't study, what they say, study long, study wrong, that's what happens. You got to take all of this information and combine it and see where it applies to you personally, and then you could observe. Your observation will be different than what everybody
With
else's is.
discernment.
Right.
You know what's funny? You know what George Lucas said inspired Star Wars? The Anunnaki.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that is an inspiration for
I think Word got his new mic from Timu.
Oh no, he
yeah.
outside. He outside with Nola.
No, I'm actually
He's
in the
outside.
kitchen. You know what? Let me hook up my earpiece
Uh oh.
to
I thought he gonna get the TV mic with the I am your father.
Luke, I am your
Search your
father.
feelings.
Luke, soy tu padre. That shit is
You know it to be true, Luke. Search your feelings. No. But yeah,
Yo,
this is
now that we talk about Star Wars, tell me why they gonna keep messing up the damn Lion King. I'm about to call Disney, email them, stalk them. Like y'all not gonna keep switching up the Lion King, man. Mufasa and damn Scar are not what you call it, adopted brothers. They were real brothers. There's books to this before the Lion King even came out. I'm getting mad. They just messing up these movies.
well, if I'm not mistaken, they stole that from somewhere. I forgot the name of the original book, but they stole that. Disney stole
Yeah.
that from them anyway.
But either way, my whole point is that the original books, right? There's still books to that. They don't even talk about the fact that they had a son named Kabu, I think it was, or something like that before Simba was born. And it's talked about in the books. There's books in between the Lion King and Lion King 2. That's why I'm over here like I'm a Disney baby. And we talking about movies. I'm just mad how they just messed up the whole Lion King, the whole story.
Well, there was a daughter first anyway.
Huh?
There's a daughter first.
To what?
Isn't there a daughter first before
No,
Simba?
no. Before
Or did
Simba,
Simba have a daughter?
it was
Or did
before
Simba have
Simba.
a
the
daughter?
Simba had the
Lion
daughter.
King come from Lion
Simba,
King comes from an African proverb. So the original story, Simba had an older sister.
there was an older brother. What was his name? Kobu, something like that. Kobu, something.
Kofu.
That's
But
in the
Kabu.
Lion
that,
King.
Yeah, the
yeah,
Lion King.
that's supposed
And
to
the
be Scar's
original.
son.
No, it's supposed to be Simba's older son. They I think Scar's wife, whatever his name, Zatari, she ends up killing Kabu, their first son. And then the Lion King 2 starts. It is in between. It's called the Lion King 6 Adventures. That's where you learn about Simba's firstborn. If you peep the ending
Mm.
of the Lion King 1, right, you see how Rafiki introduces their firstborn. When the Lion King 2, the intro comes in, their firstborn is being introduced, right? The mom brings it in. Then Rafiki brings it up. You see where I'm coming from? It's hard to explain, but you have to go into the books, and then there's like two, I think, a set of books where it explains Mufasa and Scar's childhood with their father, and how I think in the Lion Guard it explains how Scar got the his scar in the face. So you have to watch the whole
Yep.
complete series to understand everything. That's why I said they messed this all up. The whole movie, the
This
new
is
movies that they just came out, switched everything up.
Well, that's what happened when you do things as a prequel, right? So they start they go from the end and then want to go back to the beginning. Like it's like they're gonna make it make sense. They never make it make sense.
Yeah, this shit is crazy. They should have just left it alone. The classic was good. I mean, I understand it because it's supposed to be for kids. Like, even if they wanted to introduce the old books, like the word just said, there is the real version to it, which the Disney stole, right? Made it their own version. They couldn't put the story in there because it's very violent. Like, You got to really look at it. They tried. They put some violence in there. You see, Scar ended up killing his brother and stuff like that. Moments of sadness, but you couldn't really put what's in the books into the movie for the kids.
Evening, Miss
Miss
Tracy.
Tracy's in the chat. Oh,
Tracy, what up,
thanks.
though? Yeah, how does this mic sound? Does it sound like a Timo mic?
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is not words like word.
I'm not joking either.
That made me
Listen,
sad.
oh,
How you doing, Miss
it's
Tracy? Happy New Year.
Blessings, Miss Tracy.
yeah. That I mean, but like I said, it just shows you how much people pay attention to all of these movies. Like they don't. They just watch it. They're not even observing it. They just watching it. It's a difference because if you could pick up all the little bitty pieces of information that is telling you the story within the story, but you're not even trying to understand the story because you're just like, okay, well, that's cute, or wow, look at this scene, or let me look at that. They're not even trying to understand what the movie is trying to tell you.
Yeah, the Lion King was a little scary. I'll say you're like not scary, like oh shit, it's gonna make me jump out. But if you really paid attention, that John is like, damn, was this really for kids or was it really for like older kids, turning into adulthood? They would understand this a little better. 'Cause I didn't. The first time I watched Lion King, I was a little girl. I didn't get it, but I cried when Simba's dad died. I cried when Mufasa died. Like shit, I cried when Bambi's mom died. Shit, I was a little kid, but when I got older, I started
So
understanding the
Mufasa,
movie more.
Mufasa.
Mufasa was the shit.
Say it again. Mufasa, 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 Mufasa.
But yeah, they
Sorry,
really
word.
messed
We
it
got off
up.
track.
Then they make it
Why
seem
not?
like Simba's mom was a hoe. She was messing with Scar and Mufasa at the same
What?
time. Like, yo, they messed this John up. I'm
But
saying, like,
that's how lions roll anyway. That's how lioness rolls anyway. So they ain't nothing new.
so for all that, they could have really, they could have really went all out on the first Lion King. You see where I'm coming from? Like, fuck it, okay, it's a cartoon, it's for kids. Like, go all out. But this time, y'all saying it's for kids, y'all want to, keep it family wise, but y'all making this. You see my whole point?
They have adult
Like, come on, even the
messages
kids peep
always.
that. Even the kids peep the
Hakuna Matata.
message.
Telling you,
Yeah,
Hakuna
I
Miss
don't
Matata.
Tracy,
know.
we talking about Lion King.
I don't know how
Yeah.
we went but
We went
yeah.
from Star
Sorry, I know
Wars.
he. Word was gonna look something up and show us, and I can't even remember what it was.
We was talking about Star
Hmm.
Wars, and then Star Wars had a remake, and I thought about the remake, and then I went right into the damn Lion King and how they started messing up the movies.
Because today
Damn,
they
what
were
was
talking
I gonna?
about tarot cards, astrology, um,
Mhm.
and the difference of opinion, whether it's good or bad, evil, whether you
Yeah,
have to ask for forgiveness.
Whether God is in you or not.
yeah. I didn't. I missed. I wanted to hear what that because, like I said, when I first got on there, um, it was like more, religious based. And then when I came off, my man was like, "Well, it's bad because of the people teaching it, but if you go to a good teacher like this brother, then you good." And I'm like,
Which brother
"Huh?
were you talking about? Brainwaves?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Because he used to do tarot cards and all that stuff.
right." And so like his initial point was it was bad, but when I got back on it, it was kind of like he was backpedaling a little bit.
Well, then
So
I
I
think
was
he said like if the
interested.
person's spirit tells them or something like that to step away from it, but if not, then it may not be their time. That was a little confusing.
Oh, I want to hear actually what that guy said
That's why I wanted to
because
review it because
he had to
yeah,
say something that made like because he kind of backpedaled a little bit to me. I mean, that's just what I heard. Maybe he didn't backpedal, but the way he explained it was cool. Um, by the people,
so the first guy that was invited to do the show with Selena, he's had near-death
Yeah.
experience, or
Mm-hmm.
right? He had a what would you call that? Near-death experience?
Yeah. Didn't he say he went to hell?
Oh wow.
Yeah, he talks about that. He one time came up on her panel one time and shared his story.
Yeah.
I missed our live last night. I was asleep, so I gotta watch it.
And I seen him on the internet. I seen him on a different platform.
Yeah, he's been on different channels
Yeah.
sharing his
Uh,
story.
yeah. He got shot or something.
I don't remember.
Let me ask you this, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I hear a lot of people say, "Do you believe that like, all right, you know how, like, for example, you can get shot, right? And for like, you could be gone for a couple minutes, so somebody brings you back. Do you believe that somebody could see that, little white light, see the afterlife, or see a parent or somebody like that?"
I tell you this. They had to resuscitate. I've been resuscitated twice. The first time I was a kid, I didn't know what was happening. It was just like the only thing I remember was it just felt like I was on a cloud, and it was just like this real bright light. I was like in a room laying down on a bright light, and the next thing I know is somebody pumping down on my chest, and I'm spitting up water. But the second time it happened, it was like um I was just, it felt like I was connected to something much bigger than what I can even comprehend. It felt like I was a part of, like I was a small piece of this big thing, right? Um, and even my understanding, like if you hear me talk a lot of times, I say we are fragments of the creator. We all have a little piece of the creator. And that's why when people be saying selling souls, and none, look, your soul don't belong to you. That ain't got nothing to do with you. That's a divine spark that belongs to the creator. When you die, your soul and spirit is two different things. This is when I had this comprehension. My soul and spirit was disconnected, right? I was in my soul the second time. It had nothing to do with my consciousness, my spirit, the word Dorian, me as a person. That ain't have nothing to do with my soul. That ain't have nothing to do with the experience I was feeling. This was, I was being put back into something that I came from that was much bigger than me. I was a small piece of it.
How
That
about
was a soul experience. Like, so when people say sell your soul to the, you can't, your soul don't belong to you to sell to anybody. It just don't. It don't belong to you. It goes back to, they say energy is not destroyed. So your soul goes back to the divine. That has nothing to do with you. And people equate that, I guess, to heaven, but it was no pain, was no suffering, was no fear, nothing negative. I felt nothing negative. It was all pure bliss, love. It was like I was whole
Nice.
again.
That's
And when I
amazing.
came back, I was kind of pissed. I ain't gonna lie to you.
you
Did
said
you
when I
feel
came back?
light? Like,
I'm being honest
do
with
you
you.
remember how it felt? Like, did you feel lightweight, like air?
It didn't, none of it. It wasn't even like a lightweight. It was more like fulfilledness. It was like I just didn't feel anything missing.
Mm.
I didn't feel like the
Did-
lack of anything. I felt completed.
So when
So
you came
when
back,
we
let me ask.
go
Go
ahead,
ahead, my bad.
go ahead.
Which one? So when you came back, let me ask you a question. I had somebody talk to me, right? They almost had a I'm gonna say they had a near death, right? And they said that they feel like they brought something back with them because they feel different spiritually. Have you ever felt like you could bring something demonic or something spiritually evil with you?
Where I was at, it wasn't nothing demonic to bring back.
You
Where I went, it was like I did bring something back. The love. That's why I am the way I am now, because I had those experiences.
He had a taste of it.
think?
Yeah, and it's like, so what I brought back was that understanding of what love is, I guess you can say. I mean, that's probably the best I can
So,
articulate it. Like I had the true understanding of what love is.
And how about the fear? Like, did the fear Like, did you ever have fear of passing away and then that now is gone because of that experience?
It's like now I don't have fear. And after that experience, I never had fear of passing away. It's just like now I got kids,
Yeah, you don't
and
want to
I
leave
just
the
don't
people
want to leave
behind.
them. But
I
it's
know.
not fear. It's not
I
like
know.
I don't fear I'm going to hell, or I know I'm not. I already been where I was going, so I
Yeah,
know
like
I'm not going.
I've never had your experience, but I feel like that. Like I don't fear, but I fear I don't want to leave the people behind because I know
Yeah,
that's
it's
gonna
just
hurt, and they need me.
yeah,
So I guess people experience different things. I guess maybe because of what they've lived or what they've been through. I don't know. It's
it's
everybody's a,
what they.
a little. It's almost the same story, but different experiences. I don't know how to explain it. I kind of understand everybody when they say it, but it's kind of like everybody ends up saying either like with you had a good experience. Like y'all said earlier, the boy from Selena was saying that he experienced hell. I had somebody tell me they felt like they bought something demonic with them. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, oh,
Now I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is even in the Bible, right? So when Adam and Eve got kicked out the garden, do you remember the portion where God said that the seed of Eve and the seed of the serpent will forever be at war?
hmm
So everyone here ain't from God, and I'm just being honest. I'm there's no knock against nobody, but when people talk about they had, they lost their life in demonic, that's because that's what you're resonating with. That's I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying that's what you resonate with. You resonate with hell. You that's the seed. We all different. So
sure. I can't say it because, like, a lot of people know my story, so I never got to experience it. Shit. So I'm just here because I don't even know why. I tell people, like, shit, I don't even know why I'm here because the things I did were meant for me not to ever be here. But I never got to experience something like people have, oh, I wasn't here. No, I came back to life. I bought this or I got to see that. Like, I do ask the questions because it's like, can you really see something? Can you really see the other side like people claim?
I'll be there, Miss Tracy. Um, like that, like you. So you have a soul and you have a spirit. So a lot of times when people say they die and they see loved ones, that's not your soul. That's your consciousness. That's how you're aware. Uh, and that's another form of anthropomorphism. So that's your conscious, and that's not destroyed neither. That recycles and recirculates on this plane. That's why people say I can remember past lives. That's your consciousness. That has nothing to do with your soul. People think the soul and the soul and the spirit is the same thing, and it's not.
Hmm.
That's why I try to explain it as a car. One is your navigation system, which is your soul, it tells you right from wrong. It guides you spiritually. The other one is your consciousness. That's the engine. That's what make the vehicle, your vessel, go. Is your consciousness. So you have to combine those two. Now, can you take your soul? Can you take your spirit, combine it with your soul? You can, but you have to, like when you say the Trinity, right? When we say the Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, is really the soul, the spirit, and the wholeness of the two. Combining those two make you whole. The whole spirit, not the Holy Spirit, but the whole spirit. That makes you one. That's why they say the mind is the seat of the soul. Is because you have to allow your soul. Like I want to look.
Oh,
I'm
I
speaking
understand.
metaphysics. I'm gonna speak metaphysics for you for a minute, right? So when we talking about Christ, right? What happened? Christ descended from heaven into earth into man, right? So Christ came from heaven down to earth, and then through 33 years of life, he built himself up to become the Christ, right? And once he became the Christ, he got crucified, and he went from being a man to Christ. Because before Jesus died, he was just Jesus of Nazareth. When he died, he became Jesus Christ. That's all metaphysical. You have what they call your pineal gland, right? It secretes this oil called Christos or Christum, and it descends down your vertebrae, which is 33. And it goes down into the sacrum, which is the seat of where the soul is. Now, when they say the mind is the seat of the soul, once it goes down there, it brings back up what they call Christ oil. And it has to go through all 33 vertebrae back up into the pineal gland. And if you look, I wish I can pull it up. I ain't got it pulled up right now. I showed it before. But if you look at it, it looks like a cross, like you've been crucified.
Mm.
So once it goes back up there, it sits for 3 days. When Christ got buried, how long was he there?
3 days.
You see what I'm saying? And then he ascended to heaven. Now you're reaching your Christ consciousness. So that's all the whole Yahshua story, the way they told it, is all metaphysics of what you personally go through.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what live I broke that down, but we'll revisit it.
It's been a while since you've talked about it, though. That's why.
Yeah.
But it's all metaphysics. It's all a process that you go through to reach that consciousness of Christ. And when I say reach that, it's not, man, it's a whole science behind it. Because you go through a period where you release this oil. I forget how many days. It's like it's a moon period. They used to, like when they was talking about astrology and all that. This is how they knew. Astrology is how we determine what seasons it was. You know, so astrology is not bad. Anything can be good or bad, how you use it. But we determine what season, what month, what day, what time, all that was done through the stars. So just like you have your menstrual cycle, you also have a secretion cycle.
It's crazy how they talk about those calendars too, and what you're saying in these Bibles, and people haven't even peeped it.
Yeah, the Catholics unbalanced everybody with their Gregorian calendar.
And one thing that I've noticed too is like people think I'm crazy, but I know I'm not tripping. Like every tribe has its own god. Every tribe has prayed, supposed to be praying to their own alleged god. So that gives me the thing. That's why I always say, like, when people praying, do they even know what God they're supposed to be praying? What God they're praying to? Like, and they're like, you tripping? No, I'm not. I'm like, do you see how many gods are mentioned in the Bible? No, I'm like, listen, even my own, like they talk about the Aztecs and all that shit, and allegedly, there's rumors saying that they're not even real. That certain, Indian tribes don't even exist, certain one extent. And I've been going down, history trying to figure. I'm like, how the heck do certain things like this pop up in Bible history?
What if all the gods are like one entity, like one God, all these different gods?
This is what I've been telling y'all. Look, man, it's not the God that's different, it's the people telling the story. If you look at all the gods, they have similarities. Why? Because they're the same. It's just different perspectives. It's not even a perceptive, it's a perception. Like if you in India, you got exposed to Buddha. But then when you look at Buddha was like Jesus. When you go into India or go deeper in India, you're into Hinduism. Now, Hinduism has a trinity, Vishnu, Brahma, and Krishna. Now you got the Holy Trinity.
Yeah, shit. Listen,
you have the Father, Son, and all this shit is the same, man. It's just told from different perceptions. I've been telling people that.
He said,
"Go that's
different people telling the same story." Huh?
Yeah, I say because listen, when you said going down that rabbit hole, I kept going down, especially down my roots. I didn't even know that my own, like the Arawaks were sitting here praying to a god called Zemi. I mean, it's a few gods they were praying to. I'm sitting here like, what in the world is going on? That God is in the Bible too. Like, this is crazy. That's why I'm sitting here. I'm like, yo, like, this is deeper. And this man
Right.
said, go down the rabbit hole. I said, okay, I'm going down the rabbit hole. Like, what the fuck?
The Anunnaki is in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
The Anuns.
It goes all the way up to the first God, the creator of all gods. There was humans before the God that allegedly created us, right? There were humans there before us. Like if you go in history, like I was telling people, there were certain presidents that were around the time that Cleopatra was alive. And everybody knows, I'm like, yes, look at the damn history books and do your timeline. Like, I know I sound shocked because I'm sitting here like, wait. They made it seem like it was like this. It was different eras, different timelines. But when you sit here and you look at the books and you're reading and you're looking at videos, these timelines are connected. These people were around certain, like, in reality, how old is the world? That's what it got me to think. It took me to physics. It took me to everything else. Like, this shit's not making sense.
Yeah, I can't think all that too much. My head will hurt.
But you gotta listen. In order for us to understand what the hell is going on around us, we have to learn that. Because I'm tired of people saying, "Oh, God is this. You're not supposed to be me. You can't think that. You can't do this. You can't get angry." I was like, but in the Bible, God gets angry. No, he doesn't. He was just such a righteous man. He did no harm. I'm saying here like that. Why he had that well eat people? Like, y'all forgot the belly of the well. Like, I'm gonna keep bringing that shit up. Like, he sent the bees, the wasps. He sent thunderstorms and frogs.
Well,
Like,
then
come
they
on,
say,
man.
or he changed, or right, or God changed and it's different now. That was the
Like, come
God of the
on.
past. The God
So
now is all forgiven and kumbaya.
their stories, but go
That's
back. The
Jesus.
story is darker.
They replace Jesus with God. They try to tell you God and Jesus is the same thing.
And
When
it's not
Jesus never said that he was God. He
in the
always
Bible.
said he's the son. He is of God.
Son.
Mhm. He said, "I am human, just like y'all."
And if
Yeah,
God is in us, we're all gods. What?
That's what Jesus said. Didn't I tell you ye are gods?
We are all
Didn't I
gods.
tell you?
You hear?
Jesus said,
You heard?
didn't I tell you? Did you heard what I told you?
that's
But
right.
yeah, it's I mean it's when you look at it with when you look at it with an open mind, you can see things. But when you go in with belief, like people say God is not the author of confusion. God confused, he changed everybody's language to can keep people confused. So if God is the creator of all, God has to be the author of everything too, even confusion. But I mean, when you look at the story of Nimrod, the Tower of Babel, God intentionally changed everybody's language so they couldn't communicate with one another to keep them confused. So how is God not the author of it? If even if God created something that created confusion, he's still the architect of it. It wouldn't exist without God allowing it to exist.
Facts. And that part is what I don't understand.
Mhm.
If God
But
is perfect, then why did he create a not perfect world?
that's the thing. That's how, like, when, how do you know something is perfect? You have to have something imperfect. You see what I'm saying? So it was
Yeah.
necessary. Like, all evil is necessary because without experience evil, you can never appreciate good. That's like, you ever seen somebody who was in a relationship and their spouse or whoever was so good to
Hmm.
them? What they do, they
And
take
they
it for
didn't
granted.
know it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then when they get out and they realize, like, damn, everybody don't do this. Like, no. until they experience it, the lesser of what they have, they not really appreciative or can't even really comprehend what they have until they experience not having it.
Yeah.
So
Or vice
evil is
versa.
necessary. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's
and that happens a lot too. That's why people be bitter because they never experience good things. They only experience the bad.
They don't know it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But then what happens to the ones that experience so much good that all they want to do is get bad? That makes you question.
I equate that to emotional addiction. Sometimes
He's
people get locked into different. It's a real thing. Emotional addiction is a real thing. You know, you get locked into situations of like trauma. You get so used to things happening to you when it don't happen to you, you go looking for it.
yeah,
You
that's
know,
crazy.
because people feel like I know it's gonna get bad. I know it's gonna get bad, and then they start doing shit, and then they get bad. I told you. Now
That's you creating your own drama then. I mean your own bad luck then. I don't know how to put
but
it.
that's their normal, right? So when it's not normal no more, it becomes a problem. When they're not being victimized, I've seen people who've been in bad situations and they get out and then they put themselves back in bad, and I'd be like, what the hell? Like, why would you do that? And then like psychology is a bad motherfucker. I'm telling you, that shit. You start understanding behaviors, and y'all have your third eye open. Oh, definitely, sis. My crown chakra open. Righteous indignation. What up, though?
We have somebody I've never seen before. Welcome, Righteous Indignation.
Was a
How you
master
doing?
teacher.
Lessons.
Not say, hey, you got 233s on the panel. We rock with you. Yeah, 233s. Oh, 133. Gary left. When did Gary leave? Y'all know I'm blind. I
A
can't see.
little while ago.
A little while ago.
Dropped.
Polo taint. I can't see nothing.
He's legally blind.
Legally blind. Hey, I was talking to this new guy who's mentoring, and my boy was talking about me, like telling him about me. And when I told him I was legally blind, he was like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "Well, how do you?" I'm like, "Bruh, the only limits you truly have is the ones you place on yourself. Even when you get things taken away, you find ways to um, compensate for them. So like I said, I don't get too up, don't get too down.
But they say that when you lose one sense, all the other ones heighten.
Heightened.
Hmm.
But you know what? All my senses, I did martial arts for years, so all my senses been heightened already. But that is true because I can smell around the corner now.
Hmm.
You're
I
not
mean, which
completely blind, right? I mean, you're not completely
no,
No,
blind,
no, I'm not. No. So
but
it's
you're
like
enough.
imagine you looking through a hole the size of a dime, right? So I have no peripheral vision at all. Like I have to turn my head to see. 15 steps in front of me, and then I can see the ground. But right in
And
front of me, I
then,
can't even see the ground looking straight.
so you have to like scan around a lot. Does that give you headaches?
No, I'm kind of used to it. It's just being more observant.
I've heard of like people that are blind, like their time sense is off and like they're awake at night. Is that true?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. There's
Is
a
that
lot
why
of
we're awake
adjust.
right now?
Yeah. Even when I don't be on here.
but I know somebody that's blind. But them being blind, what's crazy is their hearing, their smell, their taste is 10 times better than anything else.
Now, what you just said, I'll be 100% honest with you. It scared the living shit out of me because, and then it's like you try to, you go through that phase where you try to explain things to people and they can't comprehend what you're saying because
No.
they
And you
still,
feel sad for
they,
them?
nah, it's like, at first it's frustrating. Now that I think I opened my third eye in my early 30s, like right before I hit 31, like 31, right before I hit 31. And it was like everything just made sense. Like everything was like um I had so much clarity and understanding. Like I always had like a high comprehension level, but like it was on fleek. Like like even now, I can just sit back and listen to people. Um, and I even understood it. I understand it now within science and philosophy. Um, but like when you talking about like that's why I always say the why. Like get to the why. That's how you. It's like I be trying to help people activate their third eye. That's why we going through the chakra system, you know, and that's why I'm teaching you like what blocks it first. Understand what blocks it, and then we could talk about how to open. Like I ain't gonna say open it, but how to energize it. So it's two things when you talk about your chakras. You have to first unblock it because energy will not flow through something that's blocked, that's clogged. But a lot of that is our own insecurities, our own fear, our own embarrassment. You know, we had the heart chakra, so I'm not gonna get into that. But these are the things that block it. But even after it's unblocked, you have to energize it. So that's when you came and was talking about the different like mantras, the different chants, the different vibrations. Like each chakra has its own mantra. You know, like I am is the root chakra. You know, I will is the sacrum. You know, I do. Um, hold on, the sacrum. Yeah, I do. Uh, well, the sacrum is I am. The solar plex. Um, so each chakra has its own mantra. So that's how you feed it or energize it. So it's all a process, but um, understanding why you can kind of when you're talking about comprehension, when you look at things like I don't need to know what a person thinks if I know why they think the way they do, then I can what they think will be explained through why they think that way. You see what did that make sense? So like when you analyzing something, you can't look at what exists. You have to understand why it exists. So going to the why, you kind of bypass all these emotional aspects of things. And that's one thing that keeps us blocked is our own emotion because we're not in tune to why we feel the way we feel about things. A lot of it is not even us, is outside influence, is the reason why we feel like when people say the third eye, you'll have people saying, oh, that's negative, that's bad, that's this. That's because they don't know what it is. They don't know. They haven't explored it or understood it for themselves. Like when they was talking about astrology today. Like I said, you go to the wrong person and you had a wrong experience, of course you're gonna think it's bad. But it's only bad because you went to the wrong person.
Today I felt bad. I spoke to somebody who kept asking why. I was going through my phone because I was gonna call someone with the same name, and I ended up seeing this other person's name. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna call him, but I didn't. His number wasn't saved. It was just his email. So I looked him up on the internet, and then I saw an obituary, and I
Mm,
thought he had passed. And I was like, oh my gosh! And then as I read through it, I was like, oh no, this is like it's his son that passed.
mm,
And then so when I called him, I didn't know this. His son passed 6 months ago, like in a road accident. But he just wants to know the why. He kept asking like why. I want to know why, how it happened, and why. That was hard. It's hard to talk to someone like that and not know what to say.
yeah, because I mean, and then you got to even think like with those instances, like, is it gonna make you feel any better?
Yeah, because he wanted to know. He wants to know like how exactly all that happened. And I guess he thinks it's gonna make him feel better to know how his
Yeah,
child passed.
Mama.
So then you gotta ask why. Why does he think that that will make him feel better? I guess because like the unknown, not knowing something. I guess we always feel like we have to know things. We have to have explanations for things that are sometimes there's no answer for it.
There's no answer to it. But it is, I don't even want to say that, but a lot of times we, I can't even say it like that, because that's a, his child. But like you said, sometimes there's no explanation, but even if you got an explanation, it's still not going to be good enough, and that's just reality. That's when it comes to closure, some things we just have to accept that exist, trying to figure out why, especially when we're emotional, it'll never make sense. But once we have healed from it and then explored, the why will make sense. It was someone's on is a basketball player who passed away before he like made millions in the NBA. Len Bias, right? Doe Eyes had his mother on her show. Now, both of her children died at young ages before they was 21, and she said them passing, if they didn't pass, she wouldn't be doing and helping people and she wouldn't accomplish the things that she accomplished now. But she never looked at it like that until she accepted that they passed. Once she accepted, you can say transmuted that energy, that anger, that pain, that frustration, all that stuff she transmuted and was able to help other people who were still here. A lot of times we won't go on a path until we have to. It'll be things holding us back. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to y'all if I didn't lose my eyesight. I wouldn't.
Right.
I'd be out selling life insurance, doing real estate. All the stuff we talk about, all this knowledge in my head, my experience. I've always been a spiritual person. I've been walking this path for a long time, but I never shared the information. Like Sis said, it's a lonely journey. I was just on my own spiritual journey, but I was limited. Now I'm limited of what I can go out and physically do, but I'm not limited with the information that I have. So I can just share this information and hopefully help people who are on their path or who are on their way. So my eyesight hindered me.
Right. I see what you're saying.
Now is that a positive way to look at something that's messed up? I won't even say that. That's just the truth. Because I'm telling you, I wouldn't. If this YouTube was in my feet, I would have been doing it. I could have been doing this. If I started earlier, I'd be a lot further. But I didn't have time for it. This is just not something I did. I didn't even care about, like when you know something, I don't have nothing to prove to anyone. Like when people, like I'll always try to be politically correct, but it's levels to everything. So like even the conversation they was having, I'm listening, and he even said that, I think it was Brainwave, he's saying everybody at different levels. So like from what I was hearing, I can understand why they perceive things the way they do. And I can see why they're approaching things the way they do. But like even when people quote the Bible, not only can I quote the Bible, but I can tell you what's missing from it. Because a lot of the scriptures, a lot of the books y'all reading, they're missing. It's missing portions. Like when they was talking about Revelation, that wasn't the only revelation that John wrote. It's an apocryphal text, the John Revelation. Timothy wrote a Revelation. Luke wrote a Revelations. But all those were omitted out the Bible. So, I mean, it's incomplete. But if I tell someone that who only can quote from that one book, then that's where the dissension begins. I'm not saying it to bash you. I'm saying it to let you know there's more information out there. So That's where a lot of that, that's why I don't really talk about it, because people go feel some type of way because it's a belief. So you're already like, when
Yeah, we
I
don't want to
see
get into
people,
it.
nah, because it's like this for me. Like, how I am with words. Words have meaning, and when somebody believes in something, they already accepting something without facts. So that's not. I'm not about to argue with that. How can you argue with that? You're already willing to accept nothing. So even if I bring a fact, you're already willing to accept something. So I'm straight. That's just for me personally. It's a waste of my time. But
You
if
have
you
to be
open minded,
open.
yeah, if
Yeah.
you open minded and we can have conversation, we can have a dialogue, then we can get into the information. But if you stuck on a belief, if you're already accepting something without facts, even if I bring you facts, you still, it ain't gonna do nothing. So that's why I just listen. When people share their beliefs, I just listen.
Yeah, I try to be open and objective, try to be open-minded.
Mhm.
But then when you talked about the creating the habit, because sometimes maybe I'm not accepting something, but okay, I'm going to be open to it. But if I listen to it long enough, then all of a sudden I start buying into it. But maybe it's the habit. It's if you watch something or get into something long enough, you're going to end up accepting it maybe. And who knows
Now,
if it's right or wrong.
check this out. Do you remember that show I did, 369?
No,
If you pay attention, like especially in music, people use
remind me. Yeah.
um, that people use or even like, you remember the commercials when they be like, call now, this is the number, whatever, 1-800, again the number is 1-800, again the number that they repeated 3 times. Why do they do that?
3 times.
Repetition, right? So
Yeah.
Nikola Tesla created the 369 method. It's actually older than Tesla. It goes back into kinetic science. But um, in the morning, what Tesla said, you speak something into existence 3 times. And then in the afternoon, you speak it into existence 6 times. And before you go to bed, you speak into existence 9 times. It's the repetition. What it does is start reprogramming your subconscious to accept what you're saying because it's being repeated. If something is being repeated, your subconscious grabs it and it says, this must be true. This must be true. This is how you create beliefs. It's
Right. And it may
repetitive.
not necessarily be true or the right thing.
No, it don't have to be true or the right thing. It's just something that's literally how people get programmed subconsciously and don't even know it through music. This is what they say rap music and all this music influence you. Yeah, because it's repetitive. You're constantly listening to a message. Even if you dancing to it, this is entertainment. You done heard it so much. You done programmed into your subconscious to something that is true. That's something that it exists. So now this is something that exists in your reality. Anything that exists in your reality is truth. If it's right or wrong, it's still truth. It exists to you.
So
So
like
this is
how
why. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
the guy was saying how astrology is bad and tarot cards are bad, and that even if you're reading, even if you don't believe in it, but you're reading your astrology, you're buying into it. Like you're buying into it. And so if you're
Let me
open-minded to it, then you start to accept it.
let me. I want to show you something. Since you've been over here rocking with me, have I ever tried to pump fear into you?
No.
And that's for a reason. Because I have no intention into convincing you of anything. Anything that I say, I always give you a reference or I make it applicable, like where you can apply it yourself and observe it yourself. Because I don't need you to believe me because everything I say is factual. You can observe it yourself. I give it to you in a way where you can go out and practice it, and then you
You
can
could
come back
believe
and
it or
tell me
not.
what you get. Right.
You could do the work or not.
So when people start pumping fear, making you afraid of things, that's for a reason. They're trying to convince you. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know the guy, but when I see people do it, I'm looking at the why. Because if what you're saying is factual, you should be able to give it to me in a way where I can observe it for myself. But you telling me to believe you, but you're not giving me no premises, but the fear factor. If you do this, then this is gonna happen. Show me. Show me how this gonna happen. Prove it to me. You telling me to believe you or do? No, I don't need to believe nothing. I'm not accepting nothing without facts. If using tarot cards is wrong, show me how it's wrong. And you go to the Bible, okay, that's one book. There's many books out there though. And the tarot cards predate the Bible, bro.
Like, I think they even mentioned like mediums. Like, I was always like told that those things are bad, but then like as I've been open-minded to those things, I'm like, okay, why is it necessarily bad?
It
Or
can
to
be good
have
or bad.
visions or
This is what I'm saying.
prophecies.
It's dual. Well, the people in the Bible have prophecies.
Yeah, and
It's-
rituals. You know, like they say,
yeah,
oh, you don't want to do these rituals, but like the blood of Christ and all these like different types of rituals
man.
that the
That's
eating
look,
the
look. That's not a, that's motherfucking cannibalism. I don't care what nobody. You talking about drinking and you talking about it's a metaphysical. Look, bro, you telling me to drink blood and eat bodies. Cannibals do that. That's a ritual. You
Yeah, so
praying
it's
is a
right over
ritual.
here for you, but it's wrong over here with
Praying is a
this,
ritual.
but it's
Praising is
okay
not a
over here.
ritual. Right. See that's what I'm saying. And then if you like that's why I said like me being on that panel, it wouldn't they would it would have been a no mas situation. It would have had to be a no mas because it would have been like you contradicting everything you're saying. One minute you telling me God is within me, then the next minute you telling me I shouldn't be trusting in myself. I should
Mhm.
give it up to something outside of me. But you
Mhm.
telling me God is in me, so why am I giving it up to something outside of me? And then I mean, because and see that's what I'm saying. Like it's levels to it. So you know how I get when you when I feel like
I
then
wanted you to hit that
we're
panel.
gonna we're gonna have to talk about where all this shit came from at some point. We're gonna have to talk about the translations. We're gonna have to talk about the transliteration. Now we're gonna have to talk. Now if you notice, I don't give me that believe stuff. I want you to show me because I don't speak the language, but I know Hebrew. I know Aramaic. I've been studied it for years. So I know what these words mean. Like when he was saying Elohim, that's a compound word, and Elohim is one of the only words in the Aramaic language that has a masculine and feminine property. So when it says in the Bible, let us make man and woman, the Elohim was a masculine and feminine entity. That's what said, let us make man and woman. And that was the first creation of people. See, this is why they don't want to fuck with me with this because Adam and Eve wasn't the first people. The Elohims created the first people in their likeness and image. And when you hear people say God said to go forth and be fruitful, that wasn't Adam and Eve he was talking to. That was the creation, the first man created by the Elohims. He told to go forth and be fruitful. Adam and Eve didn't get told that. Adam and Eve got their ass kicked out the garden. You see what I'm saying? So those are two different creation stories. The
Yep.
Elohims created the first man and woman and made them in the image and likeness of God. That was that Adam wasn't made in the image and likeness of God. Adam was formed from mud and clay. It never said Adam was made in the image and likeness of God. Adam was formed from the dust. You see what I'm saying? So Adam was the one that Yahweh created. That's
And
why
the first
Adam was incomplete and put in the Adam was not a complete man. That's why he was put in the garden.
and the
The
first
complete
Ephraim.
men were put into the world. That's why Adam was told not to eat from that tree because he would knew right from wrong. The complete man already knew that.
Righteous indignation. Look at her. She says it's just man's duality. Good, God, good, devil, evil.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And
She
we was just
understands.
talking about that. Her third eye open. Like it's some like look, I can when I told y'all it's some people they be like, oh my third eye open. I'd be like, no, it ain't. But then it's some people, the way they talk, I can tell. It's just the way they perceive life, the way they look at stuff. It's totally different from People just say it because it sounds good, but when it's really open, you can tell. And just like how she said, like even her, like Christ consciousness, good and evil devil, living is evil. When you live is evil, it's literally backward. You understand? Like, man, look, I was supposed to do a show 2 years ago on the grammatic language. English is nothing but spell casting. That the whole language is nothing but spell casting. That's why a lot of the words have what they call mirror words. When you look at live, if you live in the flesh, you're evil. That's why God is backward as dog. Why? The dogma star. When they say where Sirius is at, the doggone tribe, Sirius B, they already mapped this all out. A lot of these words are mirror effect. That's why when you play music backwards, you can hear people saying words. It's all mirror. The English language, that's why it only has 27 characters. It's all spellcasting. How fruit and vegetables look like sex organs, reproduce, to be fruitful. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like peaches and fair. My my Baba, it was like my Kemetic spiritual. This is when I was learning all the Kemetic science. But my Baba pointed that out. I think I was like 26, 27. Man, I ain't never looked at fruit the same again. I started looking at the names, the shapes, and then a lot of like these exotic fruits that we can't get over here. They assist our reproductive organs, assist cell production. Like what is it called? Chimney. I don't want to say nothing on here about that, but it was banned from America for a while because it helps kill certain cells, right? uh, it helps GABA. GABA is real good for that similar thing. Buttock root.
Is it Gava or Kava with the K? I know Kava.
Kava is good for, I forgot what Kava is good for,
Or
but GABA,
maca root.
yeah, maca roots. There's a lot of stuff they recently allowed a lot of these fruits in the USA, but I know back in like 2012, 2011, it was so many things I had to get imported that, my Jamaican buddies was smuggling over here, man. That's when I was really into the roots. I was really heavily into the roots. I had everybody in my family drinking my teas and stuff. Yeah, man. I need to get back on my health kick.
Yeah, I knew a guy that would drink Kava at work, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's like alcohol. It gets you like buzzed.
Oh, you talk about kabuchi?
No, Kava, like Kava.
Oh, it's a form of it's fermented. That's why
Oh,
it's
okay.
all fermented. Because we is another drink called kombucha. They told us we couldn't bring it into the hospital no more because it was fermented and people was at work getting drunk off of a energy drink.
Yeah.
It's like hooch. No wonder you got energized. You drunk.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, yeah, you're not drinking alcohol, but it's just like if you were at work.
I was supposed to be
But
on
his
here
was
for
like a
an hour,
powder that he
and
would mix.
you mix it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, but let me get my butt off here. I appreciate y'all rocking. I'll be back soon, man. I'll be back soon. My mouth a little sore, so. But I'm gonna come back with the heart. I keep saying it. I'm not gonna say
The
it. I'm
heart
gonna just come
chakra.
back. But I got some stuff that I want to do. I was thinking like, looking at what I'm gonna put some entertainment into the show, but I just don't want to get lost in entertaining, because I enjoy having these conversations, and having the open panels. I do want to do a ladies' night though, and we're gonna continue building. We on the right path. We get new people. Appreciate you, sis. Righteous. Hey, I hope you turn that notification bell on I talk about a lot of these topics, and I'm getting more into the spirituality um, and the metaphysics. I don't know if you're into like the metaphysics, but I was just telling them the whole Christ consciousness of how the crystal fluid goes down 33 vertebrae down into the sacrum. That would be the manger, your sacrum, coxon. If you look at it, it's like a hook, right? It's like a basket. So that's the manger. That's where Jesus, was born, and then through 33 years or 33 vertebrae, rise back up to the consciousness, to the Christ consciousness. And if you look, I'm gonna show you that picture. I might put it on my thing tomorrow, tonight. But it looks like something being crucified. Hold on, no, it's not on this computer. I had it on my other computer. It might be in my folder though. Hold on, let me see if it's in my folder. If it's in my folder, I can show y'all.
All right, I'll drop
I can
down.
remember what video. All right, so I
Good
can't
night,
remember
Nine.
what. Good night.
Yeah, I want to see it if you find it. Good night, Rachel.
You know what? It's not on here. I don't
Good
even know.
night.
Good night,
Got
Nine.
that too, so I can get ready for this one. I have to do. So I'm see y'all.
All right, you about to go live over there? I'll pop it in over there. I probably will pass out because I got to get up in like 4 hours.
You want to
Yeah,
pass out with the
probably.
thing you got? That wasn't too bad, no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get off this. I appreciate you, word.
Oh, for sure, sis. For sure. I appreciate y'all coming up, rocking out with me.
Till next time, y'all.
Man.
Oh shit.
Yeah, maybe one of these days we can review the Selena stream. Maybe, if we get around to it.
Yeah, I just want to ask her because, I'm gonna text her and ask her if I
Yeah.
can review it because I know
Yeah.
just her experiences on here. I don't want her to feel because like
That way she's not
I
caught
don't
off
want to be
guard.
critical. Yeah, and I don't want to be like me. When I hear something, I don't want to be critical about something that's sensitive. That's the only thing. But if I hear something wrong, then it's wrong. That's just how I look at it. I
Well, the
got.
whole thing was sensitive. That,
Yeah, but it shouldn't see that's weird to me because that's just information. But see, I have more of a academic outlook on things versus having a personal attachment to something. And the only reason it's sensitive is because people talking about their beliefs. I don't believe in anything. I know things, and I
I don't
use
think they should
belief.
get offended because we just want to tap into the discussion that you weren't able to jump up at that time, and I want to
I
know what you
actually,
think about it, and maybe Tay.
no, I ain't letting Tay talk about it. I actually want to. I want to hear you. You want to sit up here with me for 1 second because I got it pulled
Yeah.
up in the back. I just want to hear what that guy with Duke was saying or the
I
money.
was like really busy, so I kept missing it, and then I was way behind on stream, but I kept trying to listen, but I was behind, and then I would go forward, and so I didn't get to hear it all good. So I'll probably listen to the replay, which I did get like part of the way through, but then Gary went live, so I said let me go to Gary's live. But yeah, you want to play Duke's? The only thing I heard Duke say, he was talking about astrology, like the stars, and how that's what led to baby Jesus was a star, and how it's not spiritual,
Even
and that is
oh
not,
man,
it's not spiritual but psychological, like the stars and the astrology is psychological, not spiritual.
I'm gonna break that down one day because, like I said, a lot of these are allegories and parables, and a lot of it is metaphysics. Just like I broke the whole, I can break like each vertebrae has a. So when I even said 33 vertebrae, right? So each one of your vertebrae have a significance, right? Is an aspect of life. Everything as so within, so without. So everything in us is a reflection of something outside of us. So even our physical bodies, our systems, right? We think of like a nervous system. Where do you think they get highways from? You know, a lot of highways are created or built like nervous systems.
Like veins.
Like how, yeah, how one thing, how it leads one way to spread out, it leads to another. It's all everything within computer, uh, 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 computer hardware. Why is it? I get sleepy when I start forgetting shit.
I know what
But
you mean.
yeah, but let's listen to what he about to say. I just want to hear what he said real quick.
Persian, whatever that predates religion anyway. So if they don't feel that in their spirit, then it may not be that divine timing for them. There's a lot more to it. They may need to gain more understanding, and we can't question where a person is. Especially me as a person who used to teach and lead and guide and do all of that. I've had a whole army behind me that was in astrology. So for me, I've been on both sides of the fence, and a lot of people have only been on one side. So it has to be if a person is ready. And that's really with anything. It's not even just astrology. You can't force a person to do right. You can pray for a person to do right if you believe that they're doing something wrong. But if they are there and they do feel convicted, then we should be that example. We should be available, just like how you see in the traditional church when someone say, okay, this is an altar call, and they got people there to help a person go down the aisles or what have you. We should be here to help a person if that's where they are. But if they're not there, the worst thing you can do is beat them, so to speak, or like, hey, this is wrong, you need to go here, you need to go here.
Right.
Everything will happen in the Most High's time. He's in control. He has the wisdom. He has the full understanding beyond any of us, no matter where we are, and we just move accordingly. That's one of the biggest things that I have learned, to more of that passive role in that particular sense. And then if he speaks for you to interact with a person and help them through, or they need examples, all that's going to work out naturally.
Okay, thank you so much, Brainwaves. Hey, Duke, how are you? Thank you for joining me today.
What's the deal?
You have an opposite point of view of this, and I want to get your perspective on astrology and what you think.
Well, I don't have an opposing view on what people are saying. I feel like
you're mute.
I thought I muted them.
When the wise men came to see Jesus, they followed the stars, and their practices come from the Babylonian, Persian, whatever that predates religion anyway. So when I look at
and see, this is the only like, this is what I say is like, that's a common perception that people always equate like astrology or science to the Babylonians, because but it's older than that. We talking about Egypt had the first university. Do you know everything is in the word universe? That's what they studied, the universe. So a lot of what the Babylonians got it from the Egyptians. So I don't know if you was in the chat when I put in there about theoscopy, right? That's another form of religion. It's called theoscopy. And when you look it up, you'll see a lady named Madame Blavatsky. Now, she might not be well recognized by people, but one of her acolytes, somebody who learned from her, his name is Aleister Crowley, right? This is like the Eastern occult grandfather, Aleister Crowley. But all this goes back further than Blavatsky and Crowley. Is a guy named by the name of Serapis Bey. If you're really into what the occult is or trying to understand where it came from, you want to look up Serapis Bey, because this is the man who went into Egypt and stole a lot of the information and perverted it and gave it to y'all. So now y'all doing this. Like my sister was telling me about this zodiac calendar, but it was backwards, and I'm looking like, no, that's Western zodiac. That comes from Madame Blavatsky. She sat there and argued with me for about 20 minutes, and I'm looking like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's perverted. That's not what it was originally created for. You can take a knife and cut your food, or you can take a knife and cut a person. It's still the same knife. Go ahead. You can use this. Let me play this.
Astrology is just like a god, just like religion is. It might not be, you might not can feel it in your soul, but zodiac is more psychological than spiritual.
Okay. All right. Now, for those who don't know what that means, can you kind of expound on that a little bit? You said it's more psychological.
Yeah, because it's something you can actually see.
Okay.
The zodiac, you can actually see constellations and stars that somebody who was smoking peyote or whatever trip they had etched out in the stars. So this is more of a tangible thing that like if you go and chop a tree down and you look at it, you'll see rings. You know what I'm saying? You'll see a lot of different rings, and a lot of scientists have been able to say this tree is 1,000 years old just by doing that. The Big Dipper ain't never moved. The Little Dipper ain't never moved. Orion's belt ain't never moved. The North Star, it's in the same place even before Jesus.
Exactly.
So, you know,
that's why I want to chime in, but I'm gonna let you finish. But I want to chime in because I agree with you, but I healthily disagree, but I agree with you at the same time. First and foremost,
before Dominic, were you finished, Duke? Or
my bad.
Go ahead.
Okay.
No, my bad. No, I'm just saying I agree with you. Go ahead. Finish.
Oh, he finished. He finished.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I just wanted to say, first and foremost, yes, you're right. Everything is stationary. See, that's why I love our Father so much and I love our Lord so much, is because everything you said, yes, you are exactly right. Because he said the same thing. And if you read in the scriptures, everything was set in this pattern. Everything you just gave me the evidence that you were correct, because you said everything doesn't move. We have tangible evidence. And that's why I was just saying earlier about the book of Romans. If everybody read the book of Romans, everything you were just saying is in the book of Romans, also in the book of Genesis. Clearly, I know the book has been tampered with. Of course, they untampered with, but you can't tamper with reality. See, people keep forgetting that our Father created everything. See
that this is the only this is the only, like, having, it's hard, but you keep saying our Father. I understand what he's saying, but this is when you get into that believe me sense. Like you try to you kind of, okay, let me just play. Let me be quiet.
So he created science, mathematics. We keep separating things. Demons did that. See, these fallen angels came and separated everything. Everything is one. Science, mathematics, everything. So that's why I say I don't claim religion. I don't have no denomination. I don't do none of that. I don't play with none of that. I play with pure factual existence. On top of that, we are multidimensional beings. There's 3 aspects of you to make you one person. See, the people always all the time talking about you Christians, y'all believe in 3 in 1. You are 3 in 1. You're mental, spiritual, and physical, aren't you? But it makes you one person. You have 3 aspects that makes you one person, that makes you exist in this dimension. So there's so many aspects. Like I say, I agree with you, brother. I am not knocking what you're saying at all. Like you say, your existence. I like your analogy of the rings in the tree. That shows the evidence of the life of the tree. Each ring represents a decade of that tree being in existence. See, that's why I combine all knowledges, because everything is God. That's why I love biology, mathematics. That's why I study everything I can put my hands on, because everything is our Father's. So let's stop separating things, you all. Let's combine everything, come together. You know what I mean? But the fact is, there's nothing that I learned. There's nothing in the stars that helped me in here. There's nothing in the stars that helped me pay my bills. There's nothing in the stars that helped me heal and break generational curses. There's nothing in the stars that's stopping my haters. There's nothing in the stars. You know what's stopping that? Something that's in me. He's in you. He's in all of us, you all. For real, we have it's all in us. It's not in the stars. You know, it's not about calendars and all of this. Of course, we already been robbed of time. We don't even know what year it is right now. We think it's 365 days. Actually, it's 360 days, technically. If you want to be technical, you know. So that's why I don't play with semantics no more. The Lord said, stop focusing on semantics. Stop focusing on this matrix. Let's focus on our eternal things, because we can't take nothing from here. Not one thing can we take from here. Not one thing. We can't take one blade of hair from here when we pass away. Only thing we can take away is our experience. So let's focus more on that. But I agree with you, brother. You know what I mean? Much love, man. Much love, Awamshi.
God created the stars.
Go ahead, dude.
Yeah, see, it's like, oh man, I don't even.
And we can take from everything. Like God created the stars, and we can take from something from everything God created.
Anything that God created has energy within it. Anything the Creator created, it has energy, and we have to match the frequency to experience that energy. So it's just like 1 minute. It is if Duke wasn't up there, this conversation wouldn't be going the way it's about to go. That's all I'm gonna say. If you watch from the beginning, the conversation was totally different. Because now it's like, okay, yeah, the stars is good. This is it. Hold on, let me just play it, man.
Yeah, I didn't hear too much disagreement, and also, sometimes some words are better left unsaid. But I feel like the zodiac is based on man's visual observation of people. You know what I'm saying? Because we are in the womb 9 months before we're even born. So the energy of people in those times before we even get out, the actions of your mother and the people around them, that those shape some of your personality traits. So when I look at my zodiac chart, you got my Sagittarius moon, Leo sun. I mean, my Gemini's and Mercury, and it's just it's a lot of things that I look at and I'll be like, well, yeah, you read down through there, you study it enough, you understand the certain characteristics, and this is all psychological. So I don't think there's no God, or no, if God created everything, God is in everything. So there is a God psychology in the zodiac.
And what Riders was saying earlier, right? When she was saying like all these people, if you look through almost any indigenous place, you see like they have a god for rain, they have a god for crops, they have a god for prosperity, a god for love. All those are just the way they explain the different aspects of God. It's all the same God, just a different aspect of God. So what he's saying is like God is in everything. Even in the Bible, you have all these names for God, over 100-something names, but they're not names. They're descriptions. They're describing what God is doing or an aspect of God at that particular time. So now dealing with, like he said, is more psychological. I like that he said that because, like, when we talk about numerology, right, what I always tell y'all is potential, right? So you have characteristics or traits, but you don't have to feed into them. And like I think what they were saying earlier is like people rely on things and they start inheriting. Yeah, they start inheriting these personalities that does, like, I'm a Taurus. I'm supposed to be stubborn. I'm not stubborn. You see what I'm saying? I'm not stubborn unless I want something, unless I want to be stubborn. I use my stubbornness to my benefit. Like if I'm failing at something, I'm gonna be stubborn until I get it. I'm very stubborn in that. When I can't accomplish something, I won't stop trying until I get it. So that I become stubborn. When I know I'm right, I'm very stubborn. But that's not a personality I live in. That's not a consistent energy that I frequent.
Right.
When you do that, so a lot of times people start accepting these things, like what is that? What is it? The Pisces, whatever one they say flip flop. If people start embodying that, okay, well, my zodiac signs say I'm a flip flop, so every opportunity I'm a flip flop, and you know why? Because that's what my zodiac. Now that's a problem. But the truth be told, anybody has the potential to embody any characteristics of any zodiac. It's just something that exists. It's something that some may have more potential than others. but we all have the same potential to do good or bad. So
I think
don't
it's just
worry.
like a tool that
Yeah.
can be helpful to you.
Selena. What up, sis? Hey, we
Selena.
was just we was just saying, you know what? I was like, I want to
What up,
talk to her
Selena?
before I review. Rachel. Commander wanted to review the whole video. I just wanted to hear what Duke said because I got a phone call and I noticed because you even said it. I don't know if you want to. I think the link is pinned. What they were saying. So what is the problem? Yeah, the whole point was to worship the creator and not the creation. They were not being double-minded. No, I'm not saying they was being double-minded, but it was a part where you said, where you asked Brainwave, like when you said you was confused. Hold on, here she go. Hello?
Hey,
Hello.
Selena.
What up,
Hi.
though?
How you doing?
Um, I'm just gonna be honest with you. That I mean, I was a little irritated because I felt like I know that you're very knowledgeable in was it Kemet or that uh, I don't know if that's a religion or a practice with the Egyptians and all of that. So you know you're very knowledgeable of that. But basically, the whole point of it was, worship the creator and not the creation, which the creation would be the stars, right? So
Yeah,
that's basically what they were saying. They weren't being double minded. They were actually saying that, I mean, there is some truth to it. But if you
exactly.
say something as far as like you were saying about you being a Taurus and a Taurus is stubborn, you're taking on that identity as, well, I'm a Taurus, so I'm gonna be stubborn. So you're gonna be stubborn. Okay, that's basically you're identifying with that particular entity, which is a Taurus. So I don't understand what the um I guess miscommunication or however you felt or whatever. And like I said, I wish you would could have just went ahead and hit the panel and said your piece, because I'm not reading all that stuff in the chat. I'm not going to read all it. So that's why I was just like, it's best for you to come up here and say what you need to say or however you want to break it down. But both of the people, like you had brainwaves, he studied Kemet. He was also into astrology. He also did he was a medium. He did all this other stuff. So he's not coming in there maybe like me or even Dominic, maybe one-sided, but he's coming in there fully knowledge. And like I said, all of the, even he said there is some truth to it. He didn't deny that. But the problem is there's a lot of lies in it because you have people identifying with a character, with that a characteristic, which may not be them, but because they are identifying with that, then they are becoming that. And that's where it can be unhealthy, or it could be, it could be false, because that might not really be your personality, but you're taking on an identity of a horoscope sign. So I just don't understand why you was doing, you was typing that in the chat, and I'm like, there's really, it seemed like you were, I guess maybe irritated at the information that they was giving them, but I'm like, they wasn't saying that it was wrong. I mean,
Well,
not that
typing
it
in the
was
chat
wrong.
can be misconstrued
Yeah,
sometimes,
because
you know,
That's
like
why
it's
I
yeah,
not.
said he should have came up
Yeah,
there if he could, because
I
he
know I
kind of,
couldn't.
yeah.
yeah, 'cause
So
I
that kind of made me feel away, because I'm like, okay, look, and then too, when it comes to people's beliefs, it can sometimes be sensitive, for the simple fact you have people that feel like they right and feel like they have facts, and then people believe feel like they have facts. So there you go, you're running into that where, okay, I'm trying to be open-minded, but it seems like to me you're trying to trump over my belief on what I'm saying. And to me, you may think yours is fact, from your studies, but I may look at what you're talking about and say it's a belief, and that the things that you're talking about with the commit, all of that could be, misconstrued, or could be tampered. The information could have been tampered with. Neither one of us was living thousands of years ago. So we all are trying to find out and figure out what is the truth. So it just, to me, sometimes that's why I'd rather for people to if you can get on the platform, because text can be misconstrued, and it can be irritating to me. So I had to be honest with you, because I couldn't just act
Oh no,
like
that's cool.
I
No, that's cool.
wasn't like,
Because
but yeah.
I missed all that part.
Because when I came back in, I just heard him like he was stating what he was saying. It was like, using that same ideology, we can say the Bible, and that's how the Bible is misconstrued, and that's what he agreed with. So I wasn't challenging nothing he was saying. And like I apologize, but honestly, this is why I don't type in many chats, because like you said, typing people is perception, right? It's how you perceive something. And like I said, it wasn't an attack against none of them brothers. I thought it was a great live. The way they was bouncing back and forth the information. All I was stating that the same ideology he used for astrology can be applied to anything. Just like he said, it can be applied to math. If you around the wrong people teaching you the wrong way, me personally, I don't believe in astrology. I don't believe in no religion. Like even the comedic science, I use what's useful, what's beneficial, because all of it stems from the same source, which is the creator. I don't believe in God. I know God. We all are fragments or aspects of God. Just like Dominic had his death experience, I had one too. Mine was I was just explaining that earlier on in the video. Mine was different from his. I went to a place where it was like all love and comfort. And when I came back, I was telling them I was pissed because I've never felt that much peace before in my life. And now I'm coming back to where all this chaos and, so that made me feel some type of way. But like Rachel was saying, like people feel like they bring something back. And what I brought back was a lot of patience, understanding, care, and love. It changed me. That experience changed me, just like it changed Dominic, right? But yeah, my bad. I didn't. My intent.
So
was
you
not
said you
to,
got a call. Like, what you get from about me? I mean, what was the problem?
No, I got a phone. I watched stuff on my phone, and my mom called me, then my wife called me, and then I came back into the
Oh,
live.
okay. So you
Yeah,
was
so I
trying to
missed.
figure out.
So what the
Okay.
part that I missed is what we reviewing now. I didn't hear nothing. Bro said right here. What's his name?
Mm-hmm.
RO3. I didn't hear nothing he
Duke.
said, but when I came back, I heard you ask Brainwave. So which is it? Is it good or bad? Right?
Yeah, because he's the type of person, he's very knowledgeable, but sometimes he can lose you with all of the information at once. So I asked him, look, I just need you to be straight up. In your opinion, from what you have studied biblically, and from what you used to do, your practice, what do you consider? Is it right or is it wrong? That's what I need to know. Because I mean, he's like a source. He has a lot of information, just like you. So I just need the basics so we can, we figure it out, or anybody that's listening could decipher from that. And he was saying, yes, because I think from my understanding, it's like you're getting your identity from a horoscope when you should be getting your identity from God. That's from my understanding. And that's why I said, in a way I can understand that, because we should never rely on other things like a horoscope that's giving us characteristics of who we are.
Yeah, and then we manifest that.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's all I wanted to know. And then I went from, I think it was brainwaves, and then I went to Duke and asked him the same question. And basically, he was saying that it's psychological, which it is. A lot of the things we repeat, and they become repetitive. And if we keep being, repeating it, and we will eventually become what we're repeating or practicing, and so are identifying with. So I understood that. Like I said, people can take it one way or the other. I just wanted to have the conversation because I was just like, it's so prevalent now that people are asking you what's your sign. And a lot of the times people are really into horoscopes now. So I just wanted to have that discussion. But like I said, that's why I have an open panel, because that tipsy typing, it can be misconstrued. And you're just depending on what you're reading and what you're thinking upon. Sometimes your perception could be off. Maybe that's not how the person meant it or the intention of it. So that's why I say, please come up. So, but that's all I had to say on it. But I had to be honest about that because I just didn't know, where you was coming from. I knew you didn't, me and you never had an issue, but
Yeah,
I
because
was just
I
like,
didn't honestly I didn't know it was me who made your mood change, and I apologize. Like I said, I don't,
well,
and
it
I
wasn't
know.
just that. It wasn't just that. I gotta be, when I tell you this, it's just because, like I said earlier, I've had so many people to down my beliefs because they feel like their beliefs are better, or what they are saying is the truth because they read some books. And I never am disrespectful to what people choose to believe or what people choose to practice. That is on them. But when it comes to, like I said before, when it comes to a person saying, well, I choose to believe in Christ, that he's the Son of God, the Savior, and all that, it seems to be a problem with sometimes with people, and they have all these rude things to say. They very belittling of that belief. So that was a lot of it there. But like I said earlier, I was being truthful on that. But then, like I said, those comments is kind of like, okay, where you coming from? You know what I'm saying? So it was more of that. How people really are very rude and disrespectful when it comes to certain people's belief systems. So
And
it was more of that than anything. But I
and
was wondering where you were coming from with your comments. That's why I was like, okay, you might need to come on up here. You have something to say, because
and
I'm not understanding.
and to be like me, I know you don't know my full background, but I have a degree in theology. So not only do I have a degree in theology, like far as the Bible, my grandfather was a bishop. Like I studied scriptures that's only in what they call the Ethiopian Bible. Like
Yeah, I remember you telling me.
people just not getting hip to the Book of Enoch. I've been reading that since I was 11. So
Mm-hmm.
even what I was talking about the Levites, right? That's the comment I put in there, because the
Yeah.
Levites, and I was just giving references and information where people can go indulge and learn more about. I believe in practicing things, not just reading them. So even being Christ-like, I had to dive into that to understand how can I be more Christ-like, and that's being more understanding. Gary constantly, like if you like really indulge in my content, I use everything, whatever beneficial. I meet people where they at. If they Christian, then I can break stuff down with you. I help, like even me I have a spiritual, I'm a life coach. but one of my niches is spirituality. I have 3 clients right now who are Christians who I walk through the Bible to help them understand the allegories and parables. You know, understanding when God kicked Adam and Eve out the garden, when he said the serpent, the seed of the serpent and the seed of Eve will constantly be at conflict, to help them understand the duality of man, that men have the potential to be either the seed of God or the seed of the serpent, to do right or wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we say we have evil people on here, we do. God told us that. When he kicked
Mm-hmm.
Adam and Eve out the garden, the seed of the serpent is within inside man. That's why man project the devil, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
break it down. So I don't take nobody beliefs. I just try to give information to help them understand it even more. So, you know, my intention was not to make you feel like I was attacking your belief, because I wasn't. Because even what I was saying about astrology, the way people study astrology now, is a lady called Madame Blavatsky, which I know you probably
Yes,
heard
I know
of,
her. Mm-hmm.
right? You probably heard of Aleister Crowley. Well, he learned from
Yeah.
Madame.
Hello?
I think
Ooh, my
it's
bad.
cutting out. Okay.
And what Serapis Bey did was took a lot of spirituality and perverted it and turned it into what they call the occult now, or Satanism. You know, they turned all that. Do you know the inverted cross was at one point a Christian symbol of faith? You
Uh-huh.
know, one of Jesus' disciples was about to be hung. I mean, not was about to be crucified, like
Yeah.
Jesus, Paul. And what he didn't feel that he deserved to be crucified like the Messiah, so he asked them to turn the cross upside down. So he
That
got
was
crucified
Peter.
upside
Peter.
down, and they stole that. That was at one point up into the 17th century. That was a Christian artifact, the inverted cross, and the Satanism stole that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, when it comes to the information, I just try to give people references and understanding. But yeah, my intention was not to, you know, attack none of these brothers. That's why, like, even when I put that in there with brainwave, because I knew what I was talking about, you know. And when he said, "You're right," you know, about, you know, the Bible, people can use that. If you go to the wrong person, this is why people weaponize the Bible. You have people
Right.
bashing gay people because it's a sin to be gay in the Bible. This is what they tell you. It doesn't say it's a sin. It says you will not be fruitful when it talks about men and women and women. It says you will not be fruitful. It don't say nothing about a sin. But the same people who do that will go around wearing crosses and eating pork, will be committing adultery, will not
Well,
be.
I'm not gonna go into that because it is say it was an abomination to lie with a man to lie with another man. But we're not going into that. But my point is to you, like I said, the next time, you know, if there is a topic like this, just go ahead and come up on the platform and give your piece on that.
If
There's just going to be some things we're not going to agree with, and that's fine.
and that's cool, but you know, like I said, I'm gonna just refrain from typing in the chat, because you know I got kids, so I can't,
Yeah.
like, times you be going, I can't come on the, you know, I can't hit the platform. But it's all about comprehension. And I mean, I understand if you comprehended or perceived something I said, but like I said, my intention was not to go at anybody. It was just to give
Oh
him.
no, I didn't think it was like I said earlier. It wasn't. I, I I think what triggered me more was that part that I said earlier about how people down Christian beliefs, or people that are believers. That was what irritated me more than anything, because it's like people seem to always try to find a way to discredit it. But then when I was seeing your comments, I'm like, well, it was just a lot to read and a lot to expound on. I'm like, just come on and come up. So, but since you couldn't because of your kids, it's understandable. But because with you having a lot to say, it would just have been it best if you could have came up here to just kind of explain what you were saying.
I
So
know. I
that's
wanted him to go
what
up. And then I
I
told
said.
him like maybe Selena's gonna have a part two because remember like Ray wanted to chime in and I said maybe in the part two he can come up if it's the right timing, with his kids and schedule and stuff like that. But I'm the one that asked him because it was a great stream and I just wanted to like go over it and I wanted his opinion and then have my opinion. It was a great stream. I really do think you should do a part two.
It
It
was a
was
great
good
stream.
stuff.
So, like, when is a good time that maybe you could come up to, so I can have, because I do like people that have an opposing opinion or different opinion of something. So, when is a good time for you to be available?
Like the weekends is good, but this weekend my wife working. She get off at 7 though, but during the week, that's why I always go late during the week because by the time, I mean, if I can get the kids sleep around 8:39, like 10 minutes after you ended, I finally got my daughter down. Both of the kids just woke up now, so my wife in there
Mhm.
yelling at me now, like, get a bottle, do this, change the diaper. I'm like, okay, give me a minute, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's just time. The weekends is usually when I'm free and I can hit a panel. But
Okay, well, I will touch bases with you. Maybe we can do something on next Saturday, or something like that, and do a part two to it. And like in the afternoon, maybe around 2, 3, something like that. You think that would be a good time?
yeah, that'd be a good time.
Okay. Well, I'll touch bases with you again. Like I said, it wasn't, it just, with other things of what I just said earlier. And then, so it wasn't all of that. I'm not saying that you were being malicious or anything, but when you, have a lot to say, like that kind of stuff, it's always best to be vocal about it. But I understood that you could not come up, so we're gonna see if we can get you up the next time to give give your information. Um,
And, and that was the crazy thing too, because when Commander was saying review it, I was like, nah, I want to talk to Selena first because her
Yeah.
experiences on this app. Like, it's so many people like who came at her content in a negative way. I don't want
right,
her to feel like. And then I was like, I just want to hear what this because that's the only person I didn't
Yeah.
hear speak was Duke. And I'm like, before we get, because we was about to end it, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
gotta hear what Duke said real quick. And I asked her to stay up here with me just to listen to him.
But no
But
malice. Like, I mean, I like
yeah,
what Duke said.
yeah,
mm,
what they said too, even with Brainwave, I like how he articulated that because one, like he said, if you go to anything you go to gain knowledge, you go to someone who's a practitioner. You go to
right,
a teacher, you go to an imam, you go to people, and nowadays with this internet, everybody like authority figure over something they're really not. So there's a lot of people who telling you to do this and do that when all this stuff is just to bring awareness. Like I was saying, I'm a Taurus, but I'm not a stubborn person, but I can be stubborn. Is everyone has these personalities or traits. Like with the whole astrology thing, once I understood that I embody all of these characteristics and I can utilize them at any time that's beneficial to me, then it was like, okay, I'm not limited to being a Taurus. I'm not limited. People limited themselves by putting them in boxes, like with this
right,
astrology thing. Oh, I'm a Cancer, so that means I'm this or I'm that, and
right,
you fall into that and you accept it and you become that. But
Yeah.
you limit, and that might not be beneficial. You might need to be a Cancer on Monday, but you might need to be a Taurus on Tuesday. You know what I'm saying?
right,
I'm
Like
not
that
right,
into
was
all that astrology stuff or
nah.
having like going to people that read your palm or I'm not into none of that stuff because I'm not going to try to, I feel like people manifest stuff that someone tells them. It's not even necessarily
Mhm.
something that applies to you. And now all of a sudden you're manifesting the things that they've told you that are going to happen in your life or predicting your future. No, I don't believe in all that.
Yeah, whatever
Right.
you,
Well,
whatever
I
you,
appreciate you, the word and Commander. Like I said, that's why I want to say something because I didn't want to have a misunderstanding with you on this, and I definitely had to. I didn't want to not be truthful because some of my experiences dealing with some of these people on here, so
yeah,
I'm a
that's what
little
I'm
bit
like.
more.
No,
I'm a little bit more touchy,
yeah,
and
that's
a
why.
little bit more paranoid than I have been, but I am trying to not always
And
think people are trying to do the worst.
I was
Right,
about to
right.
say that kind of made me feel like, damn, like she think I'll come at her like that. Like I
No,
wouldn't, and I know because your experiences, you don't know me, and the people that you had relationships on here with, did you dirty. But yeah, that's not my character. That's not my nature.
because we
I don't
also
really.
don't knock other people's beliefs. Like,
Yeah, I just don't do that.
yeah,
I just don't do that. But
it's
it
just a
is what it is. I
conversation.
understand. You know, but this is why
Mhm.
this is why I just kind of fall back from everything and don't
Yeah.
type it because as people misinterpret it or
But if
uh
you notice, I do try to get an understanding with people. I don't just
yeah,
start,
yeah,
wanting to assume and start going in on people. I at least try to have a conversation.
Yes.
With most people don't try, but they just start doing stupid stuff and then expect you to be okay with it. But um
You're respectful
I at least
and
try to
you,
have a
yeah.
conversation. So I just wanted to see what was going on, and like I said, I try to be really open to other people's beliefs. I might not agree with it, your practices. I might not understand everything, but I definitely don't want to belittle anyone or discredit
Yeah.
anyone.
You don't
But I
put
don't
them
want it.
down.
Yeah, but I definitely don't want them doing me that way either. If I say, well, no, I see it a little different. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just glad we got a great understanding with that. And I will definitely be reaching out to you for maybe hopefully, we can get everyone to come next Saturday. So you can give your input and you can be uninterrupted because I'm not going to interrupt. I try to give everybody time to speak. So, yep,
Not this
that's it.
Saturday, but the next Saturday, right?
Yes.
Not
Uh huh.
not
Yeah.
this
But this next Saturday, possible.
maybe.
And
oh for sure.
Yeah, that was
I'll,
great.
connect with Duke as well as Brainwaves um, and see what they like to come on.
Yeah, and everybody was respectful. You
Mm-hmm.
know, some like what's his name? Dominic's like very passionate, he's loud. And then Brainwaves is very passionate too, but he's a little more like calm in his I don't know how
Yeah.
he speaks. And then Duke is just Duke.
Brainwaves, Brainwaves is a quiet storm. I like
Mhm.
to call him. Um, but he's extremely knowledgeable. He's like a little library. And Duke is also very intelligent as well.
Yeah. He's a wild
Um,
card to me. He's intelligent, but
yes,
he's sometimes he can be a wild card.
yeah,
Yeah,
he can
Duke,
be a
I've
little.
seen him around. Yeah, Duke funny too. Duke could get in. He'd get into it. He'd get into the information. But yeah, Duke could get at you if you need to. Duke cool.
Right. Yeah. So we from the same kind of place, same area. So, and then Dominic is a wild card too, but he's very
Mhm.
passionate and he's very headstrong. So,
Yeah.
it can rub some people wrong, but he's just passionate about what he believes. So, like I said, we all have different personalities. So I just want, people to just to be respectful of each other. Also, if I could get Rob Blackstorm, he came through there too. He's a mystic, so he has also a different perspective as well. So I kind of wanted him as well. So I said I was going to reach out to him because he also is into astrology, and he can kind of break it down about the houses and the planets and all of the natal charts and all of that. So yeah, I want to have people with different perspectives, not just what the stuff I believe in, but what other people believe in. You can't grow if you're just only one sided either. But like I said, the problem I had was when people are just disrespectful to other people's ways of thinking, and I don't like that. And
Yeah.
that rubs me the wrong way. And so I wasn't saying that to you, the word. I hope you understand everything I'm trying to say. But I just, like I said, at the time, how I was feeling about people and how they are against you know how certain people's religion or beliefs, and then I said with those messages, I just, it kind of just, I don't know, something triggered me right there. So but it definitely had a lot, it had more to do with how I was feeling about people dogging my beliefs.
Right.
So
Yeah, because it's probably when you seen like how I worded the phrase within and used the term Bible. But what I was saying is, it's just like anything else. If you got the wrong people teaching something, then it's gonna be misinformation, misconstrued. People weaponize the Bible against one another. Um, Even understanding the translation and transliteration, like uh, I'm not gonna get into that. But when we talk, I mean, yeah, because that's like, that's is levels to it. So
okay.
yeah, it's levels to it. But with me, I always like to present. So even words like when you said abomination, I'm not okay. I have to show you. It's easier to just show you, than to
Yeah.
just. But I'm real into you know language and words and entomology. Like that's what I like theology. That's what I studied. Like I had to understand the entomology. Like even the Bible that we were given to study is different because it has Hebrew, Aramaic, and Canaanite words. So you can see which each word mean in each passage and each phrase, and sometimes you get a different understanding. Like something go from one God to multiple gods, or it go from Lord to God, or understanding every time they use the term Lord, they weren't talking about God. Sometimes they were talking about the actual Lord of the land. So like people who read the Bible often, they'll tell you the red writing is the word of God. Everything else is the word of man. So just understanding those different aspects, um, you have to have someone who can teach you that, who, to understand what God said and what man said God said. Um, so that can be confusing too. So that's why I was saying the Levites, like before the Catholic Church got their hands on the Bible, which the Catholics had nothing to do with the Word of God. They adopted it, and then they did something. They took books out and did all that. But
Mhm.
I mean, but we know that, right? So
Yeah.
um,
Mhm.
but that don't stop the validity of what the Word is. But we have to have the right people teaching us the right thing, and that's all I was saying. And that's with anything. If you go to a personal trainer, you go to someone who don't know. You know what I'm saying? So
And I may not agree with what you know, right? And that's okay.
you, Commander, you don't
That's
ever
okay.
agree, but you go. Commander pick opposite of me just to, you know. But
I
that's how
hear
we.
it. I'm open-minded, but we don't all think the same. I don't always agree with everything, but I don't know. Do you mind us like, respectfully, like, I don't know, do you approve of us reviewing like the stream and kind of giving our
Oh
input and
yeah. I mean, I don't think that I've never had a problem with the word. I don't think that he was trying to be malicious. I just wanted to see what was going on. because
Yeah.
and hearing what y'all had to say, because I just didn't want it to be like, oh, this is just, we're just trying to convert people to being a Christian kind of thing.
Oh
That's kind of
no.
what I was trying to, that's what I was trying to hear what was going on. But I don't think that you did it in a malicious way. Neither one of you guys. I don't have a problem with you reviewing my content, but I was just trying to figure out. I just wanted to hear what was going
Going
on.
on. Yeah.
Oh no,
What was
no,
being
I
said.
didn't. No,
Because
I was
some like
actually. I thought it
like
was actually dope how
oh, okay.
the brothers was built. It just like I said, I heard Brainwave saying it was bad, and then when I came back, I heard you say, "Well, I'm confused. Is it good or bad?" So I'm like, "Hold on, let me see what happened while I was gone." And that's why, like, this part is like I just had to hear what Duke said because that's the part I missed.
Uh-huh.
When Duke came, because when I left, he wasn't on the panel. Then when I came back, he was on, but then he got
Yeah, and then
off.
he talked about the Babylonians, and then Word wanted to talk about where the Babylonians got it from. The history behind that.
And I played the well, about the Book of Enoch. You knew
Yeah,
it was one of the fallen ones that was the one that introduced that to the humans. Um, astrology, the occult practices, that it came from that the fallen one, and that was way
Beelzebub.
before. Yeah, nah.
Beelzebub.
I thought, well, it said Barkel. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but if you go back to the very beginning, I played a part of um, it was like a little short film
Video. Yeah.
of the Enoch, and which fallen one was the one that introduced it, and that was played at the beginning of it. So again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that. I know that the
Barkiel,
end
because
Barkiel.
Barkiel is that's the Canaanite name for the Hebrew name of Beelzebub. So
Okay,
you
well,
so is like I said, the language is like the book of Enoch was written in Canaanite, but it was translated into Hebrew and then it went into Greco-Roman. So
okay.
like
Well, that's where it came from. So that was before the Babylonians even had it. Then once that was introduced, that was what before the Egyptian times. So we went into the Egyptians and the Babylonians, and it's been going around the world, across the world for years, centuries, or whatever. So it's been here for a very long time, from the beginning of time. So it is just something that, like I said, we're all trying to learn. We're all trying to understand. Maybe some of us
Oh,
have a higher degree
I'm
of
gonna tap
of
out. My battery's
understanding.
dying. Much love, guys. I don't want to. I
Okay,
just
much
wanted to say that
love.
because that's gonna cut me off. All right, much
oh for
Okay,
love.
sure.
yeah, but it's all good. I don't have a problem with it. I know you wasn't trying to be malicious. I just wanted to make sure what was going on and what was being said, because I know people on here. They say things, but it's another reason, a motive. But I just wanted to hear what you guys had to say, and I want to make sure that we all was pretty much on the same page, and I know that we are. So it's all respect and love over here.
Oh, for sure. I appreciate you coming up and clearing that up. Like I said, I didn't like I took some phone calls and yeah, that wasn't about you. My phone. You can ask any of them. My phone constantly rings. If it ain't my wife, it's my mom. I got clients calling me, so I don't take phone calls about you know um, YouTube
Yeah,
stuff.
nah, because I was like, when you said that, I was like, wait a minute. so,
No,
so that's
no,
why I said, let me, like, yeah, no, but it's all good. I just want to have a conversation because, I've been knowing you for a minute and we never had an issue. But I just definitely want to make sure that both of us can have an adult conversation about this. But you have a
And
great night. Okay.
you too. You have a good one.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye. And that's it, y'all. Let me get out of here. My wife is, yeah, I'm about to get in trouble. But I appreciate y'all rocking out. Dee Dee, appreciate you, sis. I'll check y'all soon.